the little window preview of, hey, here's a suggested channel. Was someone playing World of Tanks, I think.
No, War Thunder. That was probably Lance 425.
Yeah.
He's usually
I also saw some War Thunder.
No, there was a tanky thing. It wasn't a plane.
War Thunder has
War Thunder
tanks,
has
planes,
tanks.
and boats.
No people, though.
No, that's all pairs. It's all
War
PvP.
Thunder.
War Thunder.
And you can bring tanks to your air games and planes to your tank games.
I don't know about tanks to your air games. That's a new one on me that I haven't seen, and I play War Thunder
And
frequently.
boats to your air games.
All right, so we're totally off topic, by the way.
Awesome.
But you know what? This is par for the course. Welcome, my friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Krieg Dominion. I am Omar Krieg, and this is the series premiere for Along the Frontier, an Alien RPG. Normally, in most of my shows, we would spend a few minutes and allow my players to discuss things as they wish in order to introduce themselves. We're going to skip all that today. We're not doing that today. We're going to do something a little bit different. We're actually going to go right into the show. We are a bit behind. We are totally not going to blame Rodance. We're going to blame Rodance's job.
Work is evil.
We're going to blame Rodance's job. It's not her fault. But she's a good worker. At least so I've been told. Mostly by Rodance. Anyways. We start with a shot. And basically, a camera view of an open, windswept, dusty plain. Nothing but the sound of rushing wind around us. The plains slowly give way as the camera pans along to large chunks of rocks. And here the camera deftly climbs up and over those rocks. And from this new vantage point, new things become visible. A trio of M557 APCs off in the distance, and closer in, near the center of the rocky formation, we see a clearing. Inside that clearing is what looks like a plywood and 2x4 building mock-up. Camera pans over the structure, slowly changing perspective to show us that this really is only a mock-up of a real building and stands only about 1 story tall. In a split second, it is quiet, still, nothing but the wind. And a second later, the crescendo erupts, gunfire, rapid, automatic, chaotic, and it's rippling through the stillness. An explosion, followed by 2 more in rapid succession before the gunfire dies down. And then a single scream of pain is heard, fading as the camera fades to black. We then shift to a new position. The camera fades in on a young female captain of the United States Colonial Marine Corps, seated at her desk in her office, a single window pelted with heavy rain and allowing just a little bit of light to come through. There is a small desk on her lamp, and a lamp on her desk. I think I said that backwards. A small desk lamp, and that lamp is lit, providing just a tiny bit more light in an otherwise mostly dim room. Across from the captain is a single seat filled by that of a young Marine. The office door is closed. There is no sound at first as the camera slowly circles around the two while they finish their conversation. The officer then stands up, leans over to the desk to offer a handshake. The young Marine shakes her hand, salutes, then leaves the room, leaving the door open as he leaves. And after a moment, we hear her speak. Send the next Marine in. The camera follows the young Marine out into the adjacent hallway, where a corporal stands outside watching with a steely, cold glare at a line of more than a dozen different Marines. The corporal speaks, a sound more like the sharp bark of an angry dog. Marine! Report to the captain. And what I need is for either Rodance or Luke to choose one of their 2 individuals to go and report to the captain.
Who practiced their reporting statement.
Everybody's like, shit, I don't know how to report.
I do.
Leland Winston here, reporting.
Do you salute? There you go. Yes, the correct answer would be yes, you would salute. So yeah, do me a favor and roll, and I will let you choose. Can you roll me either wits or empathy, just to see how this young captain responds to your report?
Hmm.
First roll of the campaign because the GM wants to make things difficult whenever
So I
necessary.
need to roll a stress dice, right?
Nope, just
Nope.
wits or empathy.
All you got to do is click on the name of wits or empathy to just roll the attribute.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I did. Oh, I see.
Excellent. You now have the choice to push, which is effectively re-rolling, which will automatically give you 1 point of stress. Or you can let that failure stand.
Hmm. I am gonna let my voice crack and be done.
Awesome. You do see this young captain, and just to be clear, she looks like she cannot possibly be more than about 26 years old. She's very young, which I realize when I say 26 doesn't necessarily sound very young, but let's just say for the sake of argument, she's very young. She has kind of a dark blonde, almost brunette hair, but it is very tightly woven into a bun. She is probably about 5'8", 5'9", and rather thin, but you have, as you are a member of her command, Captain Brooks is incredibly athletic and rather agile as well. You've seen how she works, like in the morning for PT or physical training. She can be something of a powerhouse, despite her small frame. When you report to her, your, let's say, presence is less than satisfactory, and you could see in her facial expression that you did not do very well whatsoever. She does, however, return the salute. Doesn't really say much. There might be like a little smirk on her face, probably. But let me be clear. It is not a happy smirk. It is not a, that's a funny joke, but I can't laugh right now. It's a smirk of like, I'm going to be talking to your platoon sergeant later today.
I have been thoroughly unimpressive.
Yeah. And so effectively what she will do at this point, other than, the smirk and returning her salute, she will motion with one hand for you to sit down in the only chair across from her desk.
I will sit.
And I already forgot your character's name. Winston, there we go. Lance Corporal Winston. As I'm sure you have heard and understand already, we are currently looking for volunteers to fill some slots in the 33rd Marine Assault Unit. As I'm sure you know, the MAUs are a slightly different breed than us line battalions. What is it in particular about this voluntary assignment that has caught your attention? Why do you want to do this?
I want to provide as much as possible to the Corps.
Is that why you joined the Corps? To give something of yourself?
Yes.
What made you make that decision?
My
old school recruiter skills kicking in right now, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh God.
These are
Yeah,
fact-finding, open-ended questions.
I know, and I did terribly at my particular recruiting thing, so this is bringing back some memories. I wish to provide something for the Corps, and I have a particular set of skills that I hope that would be useful for you.
I'm sorry, this is totally me laughing at the particular set of skills comment. I see. And so, are you from Earth, or are you from one of our other colonies?
From another colony.
Which one? And it's okay if you don't have an answer to that right now as a player. We can always dice that out later.
Yeah, I don't have an answer to that.
Okay. All right. So were you looking to get away from home, or were you looking for the adventure, some sort of feeling of obligation to the United Americas?
Feeling of obligation.
Understandable. I'm sure a lot of people have similar motivations. I myself certainly had some feeling of giving back. It was what led me to taking on the OCS and gaining my commission. So commendable. How long have you been here on Tientsin?
How long would I have been there?
Yeah, so theoretically, so you remember you rolled an event roll during character creation. So that event would have taken place on your previous duty assignment.
Yes,
Since
I
that
wouldn't have been
event,
here for very long.
yeah, since that duty assignment until now, in my mind, I'm thinking like, probably a year, maybe two, depending on how you want to dice it out in your own head. But so you've probably been here for like a year or two at most,
Okay.
because you are still a Lance Corporal. You haven't had an opportunity to get much higher than that, so you probably don't have more than a handful of years of service.
No, I don't imagine.
Okay. All right. Well, Corporal Winston, as I said, we're looking to find volunteers to fill these open spots in the Marine Assault Unit. In fact, we have a representative that's supposed to be arriving either later today or tomorrow to assist with, let's say, selection is probably the best way to put it. As you can tell from the long line out in front of my door there are several other Marines that I need to attend to. On that note, are there any questions or concerns that you wanted to bring up before I dismiss you?
No, that would be everything. Thank you.
Thank you. You are dismissed. Report to your team leads or squad leads or whatever. I still haven't. I got to get my old Army history out of my brain to make room for
My
this.
direct manager.
Yeah, your direct manager, your direct supervisor, which is actually
find your
probably out in the
supervisor.
hallway too. Yeah, so
Yes.
she's gonna be like, "Yeah, you're dismissed. Send in the next Marine. Thank you."
And so I get up, salute, and walk out.
Awesome. I'm glad you remembered to salute on the way out.
Yeah.
All right. Who's the next Marine coming in? Don't keep the captain waiting. Captains don't like to be waiting.
Okay, so is it my primary character or my?
It's either one. Either one.
Okay. I'm gonna send in the troublemaker then.
Oh God. So it's not Wescott. It's the other one. The other W that you have.
Team W.
Yes, David Watts is walking in.
Awesome.
So he will walk in and he'll, rap on the door frame a little bit. Totally not at attention. Slouchy, walks in, slouchy, does a half salute, very slouchy.
Marine, that is not how you report to your
Watts
commander. Let's try
reporting.
that again.
He just gives the look, walks back into the hallway, knocks again,
Enter.
walks in, still mostly slouching. But straightens up a little bit for salute land.
Okay. Go ahead and give me either wits or empathy. Your choice. I feel like he's probably going to rely on wits just based on the fact that he probably is not going to be able to garner too much empathy for him. Ooh. Somehow he managed to pull off what could otherwise be considered a textbook salute, even if the smirk on his face doesn't help him any. Yeah, Captain Brooks will return the salute and motion for him to sit down. And then
he sits.
And then she's going to give a pretty much the same copy paste comment about the 33rd MAU looking for replacements, blah blah blah, and then we'll just go right into. So tell me, who we got? Private Watts. Private Watts, why did you join the Marine Corps? Paycheck, adventure, combat, something else?
It was here or prison.
I am so easily amused by so many things. Brooks, on the other hand, just kind of smirks, and a very similar smirk to the one that she gave Winston. I swear to God, I'm going to remember these names, but the fact that they all start with W's is fucking me up.
Watts.
It's gonna be a whole thing.
Oh, I know.
Private first class Watts, by the way.
Yes. Sorry. Not really. The captain's not going to give a shit. Prison. Well, I won't ask what you were charged with. I'm sure whatever the conditions were, all of that was taken care of long ago. Was it on Earth? Are you coming from another colony?
Another colony.
Okay. I imagine whatever did happen and whatever had to be brushed aside or ignored has been handled and won't become a problem in whatever remains of your military career.
Nah, this is probably far enough away.
I have a feeling you're talking about literal distance and not so much time.
That does help an awful lot.
Indeed. So is that part of your motivations for looking into this position within the Marine Assault Unit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be nice to
I'm
yeah.
the captain. You do realize this, right?
Yes, ma'am. I would
you.
indeed enjoy
Thank you.
taking up this position in the Marine Assault Unit, as it will get me farther away from potential past troubles.
It could get you killed. You
Smirk.
are aware of that as well, yes?
Going home would probably get me killed too, so I don't really see much difference here.
Okay, I can't, as much as I want to, I can't argue that logic. What?
Plus here, I might actually be able to get something done on my own merits instead of dealing with the nonsense that is everyone else.
Tell me about this deck of cards. I've seen you around every now and again, dealing cards, flipping through some cards. What's the story?
Probably the most likely thing to not get me in trouble that I could be walking around with and keeping my hands busy on.
Idle hands are the devil's workshop. I'm sure you've heard that story
Exactly. Before. I've learned that my life goes much better when they're not allowed to be idle.
Yes. Don't touch things that are not yours. Don't touch people that don't want it.
I just am poking at my Seaburn badge going, I've learned lessons.
And I feel like when she says, don't touch things that are not yours, don't touch people that don't want it, these are words you probably hear from her at the end of every day, right before a weekend, in what is known as the military safety briefing, or the weekend safety brief. I'm trying to get Kane to cringe right now, by the way.
I am. Oh, I am.
Hey. I'm pretty sure we don't have to worry about...
add for 20 more minutes?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we all know that chlamydia is a disease and an infection, and it's not a person.
It's not a pretty name.
Yeah.
Right. Who am I talking to? Watts. Private Watts, PFC Watts. What, if you do get selected to fill this position with the MAU, what kind of agenda or goals are we looking at that you want to accomplish over the next couple of years? Assuming, of course, that the MAU doesn't run into anything that will get you killed right away.
Much better job opportunities than back home, and it'll keep me out of trouble, so I hope to spend a nice chunk of time here in the Corps.
Okay. All right, do you have any questions for me?
No.
Excellent. All right, dismiss PFC. Send the next Marine in.
Stands up, does the mostly salute.
The Han Solo half salute with a couple of fingers sticking out randomly. The Han Solo Return of the Jedi salute.
Continues to slouch as he makes his way to the door and out the hallway.
Yep. All right.
That dude is a permanent slouch, man.
I feel like that's definitely going to be their character trait. You know, every character has to have that one trait to make them easily recognizable. It's the slouch.
Are we going to start taking bets on how long it is before he gets punched in the face?
or punched in the lower back to get him to straighten up.
Scruffy uniform, tattoos, and he already has a broken nose, so...
Oh, does he? Oh, man, I can't say that. Man, I was going to say something about Adrian Brody, but I won't. I did.
I wasn't even thinking of a particular person. I was just pulling off the list of traits for this guy, and I went, that goes well.
Yo, I bet. All right, who's next?
All right, I guess we're gonna shuffle in. So, Matthew Warren.
Matthew Warren. Okay. Let's see let's see what PFC Warren has here.
Your problem child, I believe.
We'll see. I haven't fully fleshed them out yet, but I think I've got an idea now that we actually have the Rodemont going here. So he knocks on the door, comes up, salutes. Matthew Warren, private verse something. I'm sorry, sir. I mean, ma'am. I mean,
Marine.
Yes.
Let's try that again.
Steps out, comes back in. Matthew Warren, reporting for duty, salutes.
Make your empathy or wits roll, please.
Empathy or wits.
Whichever one you want to roll with.
Yeah, we're gonna go with empathy.
Somehow, despite your... I feel like what happens is you pull off the salute the way, or the report the way you're supposed to, but there's just something about your body language, the things that are not said, that makes it seem unconfident that Captain Brooks picks up on, and she stalls for probably about 2 or 3 heartbeats before rendering a return salute. And of course, so that means you're still standing there at the position of attention, saluting, waiting. Because one of the best
Yes.
things I would fucking do if I was an officer is make a private stand there forever in that pose. But I digress. Because that's not entirely how that happens. But anyway, yeah, so there's a few seconds before she returns the salute and tells you to sit down, and then gives you the quick runaround that, 33rd MAU recently suffered a number of losses that need to be replaced as quickly as possible, and that the 28th Marines, of which you are part, has been asked by the MSF, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, but Hercules, which is, I believe MSF is Major Space Force or something. Basically the major command over you guys. The MSF Hercules has asked the 28th Marines to provide volunteers for potential recruits. And of course, her purpose here is to, weed out the ones that probably wouldn't hack it. So she'll start with, of course, a couple of her own questions. And this is Warren that I'm talking to now.
Warren, yes.
Yes, PFC Warren. Tell me about what you believe this 33rd MAU is all about.
I believe it's about getting paid and doing well for our nation. Yes.
I believe somebody has lied to you, son. I think she would
Oh.
actually use the word son right now. The 33rd Marine Assault Unit, they are the tip of the spear, short of any special forces or things of that nature that goes in ahead. They are the ones that hit first and tend to stay the longest on the ground before moving on to the next objective. Pay options are, of course, there,
Mm-hmm.
combat pay and various other hazard bonuses and things of that nature. But I want to be clear, one does not join the MAU specifically for the cash, although I suppose one could. I wouldn't recommend it. I digress. This is your choice, that you are looking for this financial opportunity. Do you owe some back debt that I'm not aware of? That your squad and platoon sergeants are not aware of?
No, sir, ma'am.
Ma'am, let's keep it simple.
Yes. I am simply looking to make the financial decisions to help my family out.
Admirable. Is your family back on Earth?
Yes.
Earth can get a little tricky when it comes to financial needs and requirements, so commendable. Tell me, if you head off to the 33rd MAU, it could be some time before you get some good friendship or buddy relationships or what have you. What sort of support network do you have here versus the potential separation and isolation that you may find in the 33rd? You have I
Lieutenant
imagine you have
Corporal Leland Winston is seems to be the person who at least doesn't look down on me.
Are you the one with the Galactic Cross?
I believe so. Yes.
Yes. It makes sense now. I gotta get these names straight. Warren, I would wager you're not looking for necessarily the money. You're looking for a fresh start because a lot of the people here don't seem to have a very high opinion of you. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. You don't have to answer this question. On that note,
I can agree with that.
give me one quick second, guys. Sorry, my kid just came back in. On that note, Mr. PFC Warren, anything memorable from your previous duty station that maybe caught some, you learned a hard lesson, something you could take with you into the 33rd?
None that I can think of at this moment, unfortunately.
Indeed.
I need. Yes.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me about this assignment?
You said that it will be dangerous.
Yeah. Oh yes. The 33rd.
The tip of the spear.
Yes. That's exactly what you can expect.
Hmm. Then I would be honored to be chosen.
Keep that in mind. Thank you, PFC. You're dismissed. Send in the next Marine.
Walks out.
You better
Doesn't
salute
salute.
first.
I said doesn't salute. Looks dejected.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and get this 4th W in here.
Yeah, so that would
I
be
hate
my
you guys. By
primary
the way,
character,
just want to point out really
Octavia
quick.
Wescott.
I just want to point out really fast. Renance, the last fucking campaign you were in with me, you guys tried to. Well, okay, actually, I take that back because you started that with that group late, so maybe that wasn't really your fault. I'll take that back. I stand corrected. Please, let's have Octavia Wescott show up now.
She comes in and very properly does the door knocky, like you could have broken out a ruler and she's standing in the exact perfect spot.
we have Miss Textbook here. I see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and make
then she comes in and does like the proper salute at the exact 3 feet or whatever, or 3 paces away from the front of the desk, and holds it. Is like, Westcott reporting.
Go ahead and make your roll. Empathy or wits, please. And I just realized that while we've been doing all that, nobody else in the viewing audience has been able to see this. Ooh, you got a couple successes there. Nice. All right, yeah, you fucking nail. Let's just call it what it is. You don't give the textbook report. You give the I'm going to the promotion board and I'm going to be NCO of the quarter report. I know those two things are totally different animals, but bear with me here. And you almost see Captain Brooks's face light up as if a ray of sunshine has descended through the storm that is raging outside. And she snappedly, like a quick snap, returns the salute, and there's just the faintest smirk of pride as she does so, and then she directs you to take a seat. Corporal Wescott.
Take a seat.
It's good to see you again. It's been a little while since you got moved up to corporal. How are things working out there?
It's been good. It's been a true learning experience with the wonderful people in my command.
Yes, the wonderful people in your command. And she is very clearly, though she's not saying it, as one leader to another, she is definitely referring to Warren and Watts.
Why,
who are also in your
such
team.
a learning experience. It's a lovely opportunity.
Yes, I'm sure it is. Tell me, are you running from your duties here to join the 33rd?
No, I feel like I should help our privates advance appropriately within the Corps. I'm not so sure they can do that on their own. They need appropriate guidance.
Well, you do realize, of course, the story is, the words that are spoken on the streets, that those of the 33rd versus those of the 28th and other units of their various types are different breeds apart, different caliber of Marine. I almost said soldier. This close, I had to stop myself. I think that those that are selected, those that otherwise make it into an MAU, are going to be a bit stronger in a variety of ways. Do you think you'll be able to keep up? Do you think these privates that we have here will be able to keep up with the challenges and the rigors of what is expected of them?
I think they will.
Okay. Well, I'm sure with some of the outstanding leadership that you and some of your other NCOs can provide, they certainly will. Tell me, you've been here for how long now on Tianjin?
I think my NCO event probably would have happened here on Tansen.
Okay.
So
And
probably at least 2 years.
I don't remember what your NCO event was.
It was one of the ones where I saved someone and I got a medical aid skill point for.
Okay.
Specifically, the guy was screaming and bleeding. The squad panicked, but you took effective action, which saved the Marine's life, gained +1 medical aid skill.
There you go.
I figured that was appropriate to Tansen.
Yeah. Well, so Tientsin has been a garrison assignment, which is why it's the 28th Marines and not an MAU holding down the fort. So, in my mind, the way I'm looking at it is, the MAU is the tip of the spear, and the 28th Marines would be more of a line garrison unit. Tientsin is a colony, of course, of about 100,000 or so people, and so there's a company here. There's another company nearby. Altogether, you've got about a battalion, but that third company is probably spread out, doing more than just sitting herd on a bunch of civilians. And frequently, the company probably goes out on various types of missions to neighboring systems or locally, providing some sort of humanitarian aid or various other what's the word I'm looking for here? Public relations type events. About 20 or so years ago, there was a major campaign on this world. There was a major battle fought. And in the previous 20 years since, things have calmed down, cooled down, but the need for having a garrison has remained. So more than likely, what probably happened when you saved somebody who got their body part mangled and was screaming and bleeding, as you mentioned.
And, kept everybody calm and appropriate, as the description goes.
Oh, yeah, of course. But probably what caused it was not so much combat as it was maybe a training incident or just, somebody moved wrong and damn near got their hand sliced right off of their arm kind of scenario. Not necessarily or not specifically combat, but we don't necessarily need to go into all the detail for that, of course. My next, or rather, Captain Brooks' next question is, you've been in the Marine Corps for a number of years now. What was it that prompted you to join, and is it of a similar vein to what is making you look into the 33rd at this point?
Well, I like, so what originally prompted me to join was, I'm from Earth, and my family, as many of members of, are adopted in different ways from different areas around Earth, and it's definitely been interesting seeing people grow and expand, and I thought this is a really great opportunity to learn and grow and help other people move along in a cohesive unit. So.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, Corporal Wescott, I appreciate your time. Do you have any questions for me regarding this potential selection for this assignment?
Will we go as an entire unit?
I have been tasked with providing
of 4 people at a time. I don't remember what the word is for it.
A group of 4 in this case would be a squad, so technically you are a squad leader.
So will we go as a squad?
That remains to be seen how exactly this is going to shake out. As you could tell from the number of bodies in the hallway out there, there are several that I need to sift through, so I will have a decision hopefully tonight.
Well, I wish you the best, Captain.
Thank you. Wescott, unless there's anything else, you are dismissed. Please have the next Marine come in. Because,
Very
of course,
neat.
there are several...
Proper. Salute.
Yep.
Heads out. Mentions. Next Marine, please. Walks off.
Yep. So, yeah, this is a process. There's probably about a dozen or so people at least. And probably as 1 or 2 trickle off, 1 or 2 more trickle in. And so this ends up being basically an all-day affair. For the captain, especially when she's got various other things going on that she's got to sprinkle in. A meeting here, or she needs to go get something to eat there, and all that. So basically what happens is, by the end of what we would consider the end of business, what is otherwise considered to be the end of the duty day, there has been no official word, and not even there's speculation amongst the troops. Who's going to be selected? Did you hear so and so went in there and tried to talk to the captain and tried to bribe? You know, like there's all sorts of rumors because of course this is what people do when they're in a tight quarter situation like this.
And bored.
And expecting an answer but not getting it. But either way, it comes about 1800 hours, 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. There's still been no official word, but eventually your leadership says you are done for the day and you are able to enjoy yourselves for the rest of the evening until, of course, your typical 6:30 in the morning, get ready to go run 17 miles because that's what we do every day. Every day, right, Kane?
There's a reason I don't cardio anymore.
There's a reason why I can't cardio anymore.
That too. I don't know if there's enough left in my knees.
I've got bone spurs, and listen, it just isn't going to happen. If I'm running, 1, it's not pretty, and 2, you might want to consider keeping up, which won't be hard, for the record. Yeah, so by the end of the day, the word is there is no word. You're cut loose for the evening. Your next hit time, of course, would be, I'm just going to follow based on my own military experience. The next hit time would be 6:30 a.m. local for accountability, and then go run to death. As the evening progresses, there is a rumor that there is a Conestoga class frigate in orbit above us, or above you, and that there may actually be a Cheyenne dropship on its way down. But nobody can confirm or deny, and it's not like it's terribly easy to go look outside. Because once again, one key note about this planet that I've been sprinkling the notes on throughout this stream is it rains a lot. This is a tropical planet, so it rains a lot. So if you go out and try to find the Cheyenne on its way down, you probably won't see it until right before it touches down. In the process by which you would be soaked. So, what I'm going to do now is try to remember where my notes are. There they are. Our next scene requires a map change. Maps. Let me switch over this guy for a moment while I do that. See my maps, and I want the map of this one. And I'm gonna come over here, close that for a second, and pull this. Oh, you're already on this map. Pull that off. Actually, I want to use this icon. We got that same prototype or token prototype or whatever, because on the character's side of the screen we've got the right one, but what goes onto the board is not text.
Okay.
So when you have a moment, if you could attempt to fix that, I'd appreciate that. Don't sweat it, because this is your scene.
This will take just a second.
And I need to pull my. What am I doing wrong here? Sorry, technical. I'm not used to Foundry, so bear with me, guys. Oh, I got to pull Observer into this one too. Okay.
What did you name the updated one? Oh, I think this might be it. This is named differently.
I will be right back.
Yep. Yes, for Luke and Rodance, if you guys need to step away, now is fine time to do that. If you need to for a moment or two.
There you go.
I just totally confused myself. Oh, Observer needs to be on here. All right. So that way we've got that. All right, here we go. All right, apologies, my friends, viewers, etc. I am still learning how to work Foundry. In the meantime, what we have now is me pulling up my notes again. Dark, mostly silent. The soft hum of mostly still computers, the whir of ventilation fans. A screen fades from black to softly glowing green as it turns on. Words print out one character at a time, rapidly filling in the left side of the screen. Pike, Heath A.W, Corporal. Oh, I forgot to change my notes. That should say sergeant. My apologies. Status, cryo suspension. And then it says, instead of cryo suspension, it changes to reviving. And then it changes, after a moment longer, awake. And we hear a faint hiss, the sliding of plexiglass, and a quiet hydraulic pump as a sleeping pod, or cryopod, whatever you want to call it, opens up. Lights slowly come up, illuminating the darkness, revealing we are in the room. Invisible now is a row of 8 cryosleep pods. Most are empty, except for a few. Sergeant Pike, who I've misnamed at least once already as Corporal Pike, please take a moment. Describe what we, the viewers, would see, what your character looks like, what he's feeling at the moment, what is going through his head as he is slowly coming out of his slumber and putting his brain back into working order. And for a reference point, the last thing you remember is going to sleep while the ship was transiting away from the Kruger 60 system in Fort Nebraska, the home base for the 33rd MAU.
Okay. Pike is huge. Pike is 6'4", and he's stacked. He's a huge dude. Looks like he's probably sort of like, he doesn't have space to move too much in the pod when he leans forward and just and takes a look down the row of pods to see if anybody else is waking up.
They are not. Your pod, let me rephrase that. So your pod and sorry, I'm trying to do like 6 things at once here. So your pod was filled, obviously, and your superior, your next immediate 2 superiors, I should say, also had pods. Those 2 are currently empty. Let me rephrase that, because Casados is asleep. Zimborski is not.
Okay.
But Zimborski's not in his pod. Like, at all. Nowhere nearby that you can tell.
Okay. He'll step out onto the cold floor, and it doesn't seem to bother him. He's got that practice motion of working through the disorientation like somebody who has been in hypersleep far too many times.
I was gonna say, yeah, this is definitely not his first rodeo.
Yeah.
Nor his second or third.
He just sort of runs his hand over his head, sort of a subconscious check to see if he needs another haircut.
which he probably does.
Yeah, it's been like 3 days. I should really get this trimmed.
Yeah.
Walks over to his locker, opens it up where he's got hanging on a little 550 cord loop. He's got a little hydration pack just already waiting for him in his locker with his uniform.
He pre-stowed. What do they call it? Prepoed this.
Yeah. So again, like he's trying to be industrious about this, right? Like he's doing his belt with one hand and he's still nursing the hydration pack with the other. And
yep.
So he gets his utilities on. He stretches a little bit. Just sort of checks, make sure everything,
the familiar creaks
nothing...
and pops are still there.
Yeah, he's just sort of just limbering up from being stuck in a tube.
Yeah, and he's a big guy to be stuck in a small tube. Because, of course, those tubes are all the same size.
Yeah. And he'll walk over by the food station, and he'll print himself a brick of cornbread.
Yeah, and before that, actually, as the cornbread is, making its way out of the dispensary slot, whatever the fuck it's called, you hear over the intercom, in the PA or whatever you want to call it, Sergeant Pike, get dressed, report to the briefing room. And those words are only said one time, but it's loud enough to, burn through what's left of the memory fog.
Is the cornbread done printing?
Or is it still like partway done? But is the cornbread ready?
No. Is it still printing?
Yeah, it's still in print. It's got like another 5 or 10 seconds to go.
He leaves. He'll come back for it.
Yeah. You recognize immediately, of course, that was the voice of Staff Sergeant Adam Zimborski, your section sergeant, or excuse me,
Yeah.
your platoon sergeant.
Yeah,
I really did not do a very good job of delineating who and what everybody's ranks and stuff is.
Yeah, as soon as he hears the summons, he looks at the machine.
Uh-huh.
He can't grab it right now, so he turns on heel and walks his way out to the briefing room, checking to make sure checks to make sure all of his pockets are flat and
Make sure his uniform is at least mostly presentable.
yeah, there's no reason to be a slob.
No, absolutely not. All right, I'm moving you over to this other. I gotta put you in the right area though, because there's a briefing spot. There it is, the ready room. Okay. I do love the fact you just teleported through the walls, but nobody could see that but you and me right now. Let's see. Get my notes back up. Pike.
Yeah, as soon as I see him at all,
Mhm.
he'll vocalize. Good morning, Staff Sergeant.
I think Zim doesn't really give you much of a response. Let me review my notes really quick just to make sure because I've already fucked up a handful of things. I need to take a quick review. No, Zim is already, obviously he's in here. He's got what looks like a clipboard in one hand, and there's a couple of various notes and papers and whatnot on the desk in front of you, or between the two of you at this point. He'll look up. Yeah. Sleep all right?
As well as I can.
Never get over the idea of being put into an artificial sleep, but yet I still dream as if it was sleeping on a rack. I digress. As we talked about before we left Nebraska, we're heading down to Tientsin, 1st Battalion, 28th Marines. They are tasked with providing some volunteers. We've already made contact with Captain Amanda Brooks, Charlie Company Commander. She's already begun the process of sifting through some volunteers, but she's got more than she was expecting. These are all corporal and below. We've talked a little bit. It seems like we've come up with a plan. I want to run it by you really quick. And you guys will spend, I think you already know, based on our previous conversations, a gist of what the idea is, but I don't want to reveal too much just yet.
So I look down at the map.
Yeah.
We go over the talking points.
Yep.
Yeah. Sergeant Pike says, "This sounds about as good to figure out who might or might not die sooner or later."
Well, I'd rather they didn't die at all, but when your number's up, your number's up. Listen, I need your eyes, I need your ears, I need you to be able to convey your thoughts during the observation phase here. These will most likely be your team, your squad. That business back on, I'm going to say Joliet because I think that's what my notes say. I picked some random ass place. That business back on Joliet, that was pretty rough. We needed to fill up the other companies before they fill up ours because our company took the least. I'm not going to figure it out. You know how Lieutenant Colonel Hanrahan is used to playing with only so much bread and I'm saying this phrase wrong. Hold on, give me a second. I'm going to get this right. I'm going to get it right. You know how the Colonel is. There's always more bread than there is butter. He spreads it out as thin as it goes.
Well, it's a good thing he's got us to work for a living.
Yeah, you know how it goes. Colonels think, NCOs do. Yeah. So just watch, listen, tell me what you think. See if I can't get you the best that they have to offer. I owe you that much at least since I took all your other guys. Any questions?
You want me to give you my thoughts after, or do you want me to tell you as I see it? I don't know how close to the chest you want to play this.
I think we'll have a private moment, but if I ask, I want an answer.
Of course, Staff Sergeant.
And then we cut from that scene to a moment where we see Pike and Zimborski boarding the Cheyenne. the flight crew is going through their final stages of pre-flight. And then we catch the... God, it's almost like a mandatory shot, the bay
I do have a
doors
question.
opening. Yeah, go ahead.
Are we for this event,
Mhm.
even though Staff Sergeant Zaborski and I are not participants, because of where we're going, are we bringing our kits?
That's a great question. And I kind of pictured, so how about this? This is what I picture. You'll bring your kit, but you will not be wearing your helmets. You'll be ranger hooing it.
Yeah.
Kit and soft cap is probably what you're gonna be doing.
Okay.
It's more for the what's the word I'm looking for here? Appearance and presence. I think that works. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go tactical.
Okay.
So yeah, kit and soft cap. You'll have your helmets obviously, but other than that, you'll be in soft cap. But yeah, we get the obligatory shot of the hangar bay or docking bay doors, whatever you want to call them, sliding apart. The Cheyenne just literally plummets out above the planet, and then it just rockets off, because that's exactly how it would work in real orbital dynamics and physics. You rocket towards the planet in order to land. I'm not going to talk more about it because
But it's cool.
but it's cool.
It's really cool.
Listen, I suppose the shot would work if we
Cinematic magic.
Yeah, I suppose the shot would work if we don't show that the front of the bigger ship is pointed in the opposite direction of the Cheyenne.
Details.
Yeah, details, exactly. Let me pull up. I may need tech support just to make sure it is working correctly.
Okay.
Next map. Once I get going here, I'm gonna go ahead and activate it now, and there shouldn't be any tokens. So right now, you guys are not gonna see anything yet. Just bear with me for a minute, because our next scene is with Rodance and Luke's characters along with their buddies.
Okay.
It is something like... Oh, did I forget to put Observer on there?
The observer's on there, but you'll need to move it around as an action camera,
Ooh.
I do think
which will be cool.
there's a certain amount of entertainment when I realize that my primary character is probably by far the shortest out of everyone standing there.
Is she short? I didn't really.
I didn't think I put in it, but I could totally see her being like little and short and running around after all these ridiculous behemoth of dudes.
That would be pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. That would be funny. Is there a way to give Observer... Thinking for a second here. Do we want Observer to have all vision, or do we want... Yeah, I guess we'll just have to move Observer around as the action camera. I'll figure it out as we go, and may change things as we go as well. We'll get there in a moment. Where am I? I'm right here. It is about... You know what? Honestly, you don't know what time it is. It is the middle of the fucking night, and all you can hear are blaring alarms. This is for Luke and Rodance, both characters each. So all four of you. Blaring alarms. There are people, you can hear footsteps in the hallway, and they are moving with a purpose. They're not walking. They are running.
Which alarm is it?
Is
it the we're under fire?
This is the grab your shit and get to your assigned locations, which for you guys would be the motor pools where your vehicles are located. The vehicles that you will literally ride into combat.
Okay, well, shoot, hurry my people along.
Yeah, Luke, your characters.
Make sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna be following up pretty quickly. I'm gonna Leland Winston is gonna kick Matthew and say, "Hey, come on, let's go."
I'm assuming we're all basically crewed in the same spot, being in the same squad.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I feel like, yeah, Luke, you and your buddy are probably in the same room, and then Wescott and her buddy are probably in the same room, because maybe they don't necessarily have. Let's just go with you guys are in a two-person room. Yeah, the alert is going. You hear footsteps and doors are being beat on out in the hallway. These would be the other doors in the barracks. People are
Yeah.
yelling, "Get up! Let's go! Move it! Fuck! Where's my gun?" They don't say gun, but they say weapon. I've been out of the army long enough. I can call it a gun now. It still hurts every now and again when I do, by the way.
My violent sporting equipment.
That's something Pike might say.
That's amazing. My violent sporting equipment. Awesome.
Yeah, so Octavia would probably start walking around and like banging on the other door if they don't appropriately prompt.
Yeah, how does that play out? So we got Wescott beaten on God damn, I cannot
Well, I
remember your guys'
basically
names.
I thunk David. David gets his shit moving.
Yeah.
Because he'll at least, he's rough around the edges, but he'll at least move his ass.
Well, this isn't
I
new.
go-
This is not a new experience. This is something that is
No.
done like probably 3, 4, 5 times a year minimum as a training exercise. And then like anytime there's a anytime you guys get ready to roll on the field for training, like out in the field training, they do this. So this is not unknown. What is unknown is the fact that you didn't know that this was going to happen. So for all you know at this point in time is like, usually you know ahead of time, yep, there's going to be alert probably about 4 o'clock in the morning. Everybody get all your shit. We're going to go to the motor pool. Then we're going to go out in the woods. We're going to be out in the woods for 2 weeks practicing live fire exercises and then team maneuvers. No, you didn't get any of that shit this time. This is straight up nothing. Nobody said shit. And now it's like, oh shit, what's going on? What's the real deal?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I definitely would be up and about and hauling ass because I know Matthew is my problem child at the moment and does not like getting his ass out of bed.
Totally checks out.
I actually have the spare bucket of water from my room in hand ready to go.
Lance Corporal
Awesome.
Winston, you and your roommate are hearing not just people beating on doors and yelling up and down the hallway, but your door in particular.
Winston! Warren!
There you go.
I kick at Matthew Warren, telling him to get his opportunistic ass up and running.
Winston, you need the bucket?
Yep. No. I think I got him. He's groaning. I got him.
I'm standing there with a bucket of ice water.
No, he
Set it
gets
back
up
in
pretty
my room
quickly.
because I'm assuming it's right next door.
He gets up and then he's good. Winston is pretty quick on the draw for that. So
We are not going to discuss how often my poor character has to sit there and fill a bucket full of fucking ice water every damn day just in case.
No, I feel like I would have
Seems like a
gone.
given.
I wouldn't have even gone to the ice bucket. I'd have been like, yeah, no, I'm kicking this motherfucker. I'm done playing this game. I'm kicking
Hey.
him, and I don't care if it's a shin or a shoulder or a face. I'm kicking him. Get your ass up.
just a foot of commanding get up.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, when my character probably weighs half as much as the rest of them, it makes more sense for her to chuck a bucket of water. It's probably more effective.
All right.
As
So what's going on? What's going on, Octavia?
No warning. We need to roll.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's exactly how it rolls down. Is like you're not getting advice or guidance from hires. You are a squad leader, Wescott.
Mm-hmm.
Your section leader is around, but they are busy. Like they are not. Let me rephrase this. So you know they're around, but they are currently in like the arms room or other ammo locker, making sure shit is getting pushed out to you guys. They don't.
I
know
honestly,
anything
I know the alarm went off. I know what I'm supposed to do, and I know where we're supposed to be, and I make sure my people are there on time. I will not lose to the rest of these hoodlums in this barracks on time to position. Okay, it ain't happening. My squad will be where they're supposed to.
all around you, up and down the hallway, and probably in adjacent hallways that you can hear. But there are orders being barked everywhere, and by anyone with more than a single chevron on their uniform. These orders are expected, of course, to be carried out. No exceptions, no questions. This isn't the time to discuss. This is the time for execution. And over the course of the next hour, you and the rest of your squad make it down to the motor pool. Your vehicles are, over the course of the hour, your vehicles are loaded up. All of your equipment that the vehicle needs, all of your equipment that the squad's platoon needs, everything you guys need is loaded up. Water, ammo, food. tools, repair kits, etc. All that stuff is being loaded up and stowed. Your section sergeant comes by at least 3 separate times in that hour to check your progress. And at one point, they actually are like, no, this is not the right load plan, and orders you to pull everything off the vehicle and throw it back on there the correct way and make sure everything is secured and tied down, because the last thing we need is a goddamn socket wrench popping somebody in the back of the head. I think those were his
Yes,
exact
sir.
words.
I can tell just on the feeling coming off him that it ain't worth fucking arguing.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It will be done, sir. And then
Yeah.
I look at my 3 guys going, you know the difference between the load plans, right? We don't
Yes.
actually have to pull all of them off.
Yeah, and usually it's so. For those that may not know, the load plan is an actual fucking form. It's an actual document, and it actually has a picture diagram that you literally hand draw, or with clip art or whatever, draw where everything fucking goes, and then you have an itemized list of what every individual item in that map is, so you know exactly what goes where. And it's meant to match across all of the vehicles within a unit. That have the
I've
same
worked in
rule.
retail.
Yeah, there you go. That's probably not much different.
Yeah.
As you make your way through this entire process, you eventually get everything loaded up, secured, tied down. You get people loaded on the vehicles, and then the vehicles start to stage near the gate leading out of the motor pool. At this point, you're really only waiting for some sort of briefing. Even if it's nothing more than, we're going to coordinate XYZ 1, 2, 3, you're obviously not going to roll out and start moving without somebody giving some sort of movement brief. And that's what everybody, like, all the vehicles in the motor pool, and we're talking like probably in a company, okay, I'm thinking real world and not necessarily in the USCMC. For you guys, a company, probably half dozen or so vehicles at least. Not including individual, like the commander has his own 22nd century version of a Humvee, or maybe he's rolling in an APC, I don't know. Or she, rather. At any rate, you are waiting, staged, ready to roll out at the moment's notice. And you, Corporal Wescott, you have part of your kit, I should say, a small HUD-like device that you wear on your wrist. And my son is waving his arm frantically from off screen, so give me just one quick second here.
And don't forget for your inventories how to get stuff out of your locker and equip it to your character.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. I need to do that.
Oh,
real
we
quick
don't.
for them.
Yeah, we have to do. Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead and do that for your people. You need to get your weapons and armor and all that stuff loaded onto your bodies. Literally, as this case may be. And as you're doing that, and I can reiterate this stuff if I need to, but basically here's what happens. On your HUD-like device that you wear on your wrist, there is a marker. On that display is a marker indicating what appears to be a single-story wooden shack in the middle of a rock formation about 100 kilometers out from the colony outpost. You are given a set of instructions, and they are this. Your orders are, once dismounted from the APC, to lead your squad on foot to that location, secure the high-value item in that building, and to extract it to your vehicle. The HVI, or high-value item, is a small satellite core module that survived re-entry. It was picked up by local insurgents and moved to this location for retrieval by a team capable of leaving the planet. Its recovery is paramount. Once returned to your vehicle, your exfiltration will be indicated by company command. Your orders also contain an explicit warning. Expect light to moderate resistance. A team of 3 to 5 known insurgents are operating in your area with presumably a similar set of instructions. They are expected to be armed with automatic small arms, and possibly including a light machine gun and grenade launcher. Your rules of engagement: fire only if fired on or in defense of yourself, your team, or the HVI you're ordered to recover. Deadly force is only authorized if any of those conditions are met. Your your immediate command is APC 1-2, call sign Hawk 1-2. For quick reference, the APC has a bumper number, usually stenciled like towards the back and on the front, which is 1-2, or in this case it would be Charlie 1-2. The APC's call sign is Hawk. Your call sign is Dove for your squad. So if you need to call the truck, effectively, if you need to call the truck, it's Hawk. If they're calling you, you're Dove. When you are ready, brief your team. These are all instructions that are relayed through the HUD device. I'm going to make some creative decisions here that you guys have a linked network sort of HUD thingy on the wrist. Because if I remember right, in Aliens, the Marines did have some sort of device on their wrists.
They had the helmet cameras, and the APC could see all the cameras and all the
Yes.
PDAT info.
But I'm pretty sure they had something like on their left wrist, or something. Maybe the squad leaders did. I don't remember specifically. I'm going to assume that you guys have some sort of data transfer device other than your traditional PDATs and things of that nature.
How do we indicate something is on the Humvee as opposed to on our individual person?
Leave it in the locker.
Yep.
Okay.
Why did I close that? I didn't wanna do
And
that.
should things be inactive, like the personal armor, ballistic helmet, and stuff like that, or is it supposed to be inactive?
It's active if you're using it. It's inactive if you have it stuffed in your backpack.
Okay. So backpack should stay in the inactive.
You're actively wearing your backpack, so it should go into the active. But all the stuff you have listed as inactive is basically in your backpack or otherwise inaccessible without some effort. Like your weapon on a sling, that's going to be in your active. Your shoulder lamp is attached and ready for use, so that's going to go active.
Okay.
You're wearing your body armor and helmet, so those will go active.
My second Armat Model 12 gauge shotgun should be an inactive.
Well, yeah, probably. It'd be hard to have two weapons slung on top of each other. So one of those is probably slung on your back.
Yep. All right. All right. I think I got the gist of this inventory thing then.
Yeah, go ahead and take a moment to get all that situated. If you
So
need
my
a little
surgical
more time.
kit, Never Sleep pills, Naproxen, and folding entrenching spade should be an inactive, along with my 12 gauge shotgun, but everything else should be pretty well in the active.
Yep.
Cap.
And you guys can't see anything on the map yet. So that means I can actually
Do some modifying.
do some stuff. Some shite. If I can remember who's what and which is where. Okay. Now, Kane, if I put a token that is meant to represent an enemy on the screen and I make their visibility invisible,
They'll have we won't be able to see it.
and you guys won't be able to see it until both I make them visible and you have line of sight, correct?
Yes.
Okay. In which case I probably can just leave them invisible. There's not a real need right now to invisible. Why are you not going good like you're supposed to?
So you said we're retrieving a something.
Yes.
Satellite
It is a satellite core that is more or less what's left of the satellite. Do I need?
Okay, so I'll need my diagnostics device thingy, I think.
Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to bring that. Your comms tech stuff, gear,
Yeah,
equipment.
can I toss my grenades at someone else to carry?
Yeah, you can do that.
Theory?
Yeah, I have a strength of 2, so I'm running into a weight issue.
Speaking of, as you're going through the process of figuring out who's going to carry the grenades and things of that nature, I need any one or more of the 4 to make a. It's observation, isn't it? Is it observation? Is that the skill name?
Observation is for detecting danger or things that are hidden.
Yes. Yeah.
And in a group, the person who rolls the most amount of dice rolls for the whole group.
So yeah, okay, yeah. Who in your squad has the highest dice for observation?
Leland has a 3.
I have 6.
Nice.
By the way, that includes the skill that goes with observation, which I believe is wits.
Yep.
So
Let me double check Watts.
And while you guys are figuring that out real quick, Kane, I have one of 4.
So I shouldn't have a 3. I should have a wits of 4 plus 3.
Correct.
So your total dice pool will be 7.
Yeah.
So I put 7
Watts.
there.
Watts also has 7.
Well,
You won't have to do any modifier boxes. When you just
Yeah.
click on the skill, it will add your wits to it.
Oh, I think I rolled by accident.
You did, and you
Yeah,
rolled
and you
11
did with the
dice.
modifier.
So your
All-
wits will have
all you have to do
4.
is click on the skill. That's all you have to do. There's no
Yeah.
modifier. It'll
I
add
want
for you.
right,
And
but
I
I want
failed at it.
I want to point something out really quick though. So your wits is 4 and your observation is 3. Your observation stat block doesn't go to 7 because the 4 plus 3 equals 7. It just stays at 3. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I noticed.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just additionalized later.
Yeah. Kane, I am having a minor difficulty here. There are
Okay.
supposed to be, I'm just going to say X number of hostiles, and I can only drop 1 token. The other, X minus 1 are not able to populate them onto the. I fucking this up somehow.
DM me the name of the actor.
Yeah, let's see. Where are you? Here.
So, Rodance, did you have any more dice than the one that I rolled, or should I push it?
Here we go. Okay.
So, my
I'm not going to
main
count
character
that. I'm sorry.
has 6, and my secondary buddy has 7 dice.
Okay, so I had 7 too then.
And what is the dice for your other character for observation?
Like a 3.
Okay.
So what I'm hearing
Pretty
is it's
even.
going to be either Watts or Winston making an observation roll.
Isn't
Yeah, but
Winston your main?
Yeah.
Yeah, I already rolled though.
Oh, I'm not going to count that one because it was a snafu. Go ahead and make that observation roll for Winston, and
Yeah.
let's hope we
Yeah.
get it correct.
Okay. Winston, observation roll.
Okay, excellent. Winston.
Okay, you got a stunt that you can spend on that with that extra success.
Yes.
That could get you more information.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, okay.
That stunt is, and I believe they're listed.
Yep, if you look at your skill in the
character
skill
sheet?
list, next to the
Yeah.
number is the tools. Each success beyond the first you can spend on those stunts.
Okay.
Oh, if you click on
and that's under Colonial Marines or Rulebook.
Sorry.
If you go to your skill list on that character sheet,
Oh, I see.
there's a pair of tools next to the number of ranks in the skill. You just click on it and it opens up
Observation.
what stunts are available.
Okay, so for every extra success you roll, you get to know the answer to one of these questions. Is it coming for me? Are there more of them close by? How do I get in past away? I'm gonna go with 2. Are there more of them close by?
Okay, well, before I answer that, let me address the initial answer, I guess. So you got 2 successes. So what you realize as you guys are getting ready to head out, and you're actually, once you make this realization, you're kind of kicking yourself because you're wondering, how in the fuck did you miss this? But when the question of, can somebody help me carry some of these grenades, you get a good look at them. It's dark out, but you get a good look in the street lights and whatnot that are in the motor pool. These are not your standard, I'm going to use Army terms here, so bear with me. These are, because I know there's slightly different in the book. These are not your standard M67 fragmentation grenades. These are flashbangs. Every one of your, what you thought were fragmentation grenades are flashbangs. And your smoke are still smoke, and your flashbangs are still flashbangs. But the ones that are meant, or what you thought were your frags, actually say fragmentation simulation flashbang.
Oh.
To answer your second question, which was what again?
Well, I'm not sure that's actually relevant anymore.
Well, you said something along the lines of, is there more of them or something like that? I believe.
Yeah.
What you realize as you stare in disbelief and shock and a little bit of like, how the fuck did I miss this? You realize that this is a flashbang pretending to be a fragmentation grenade.
Yeah.
You also realize all of your quote unquote live ammunition that you have been loading onto the onto the trucks and in your magazines and whatnot are actually simulation rounds. These are what are traditionally referred to as sim rounds. They will leave a mark. They're not going to kill you.
Kind of like wax bullets.
Effectively. Let's go with that. Because I'm not entirely sure what a sim round actually looks like, feels like, etc. Like the weight. So basically, what I'm envisioning here in the 2183 or 4 that it is that these act like regular bullets. So like all the ballistics are the same, other than the actual amount of kinetic energy with which you get smacked in the face. If you took one of these shots at close range, like within a few feet, in like the eye, you're dead.
It would hurt.
No, you're dead. It's probably gonna go through your
Okay.
eyeball. But if
Okay,
you
yeah.
take it even in the face, like your cheekbone is going to be sore and swollen for days. You may have even broken the cheekbone, but it's not gonna like kill you. What it's intended, of course, is that you're not taking these not actual bullets at point blank range, is that you're getting hit at like 50 plus meters away.
Yeah.
Because there's actually safety regulations that you're supposed to do what's called a close kill or safety kill when you're within 10 meters of your opponent and not actually shoot them. Plus, you've got body armor on half the time. Long story short, what you're realizing is that these are facsimile rounds. These are not real rounds. These are not real munitions. And I will toss in as a freebie, in case you're not able to come to this conclusion on your own. And I don't mean to be snarky or rude, but what the conclusion that you're probably coming up with at this point is, this is not a real world exercise or operation. This is a training exercise of some sort. They just
But like a really elaborate,
Yes.
weirdly not
yes.
Well, I
transparent one.
told you that I didn't have warning, so
Yeah.
Stormbender
So this was
says, "Hey Stormbender, how you doing? Training rounds on a bug hunt? No, not quite. Close. Kane, I do need tech support. You said they were next to Observer, but here's the problem. On the GM screen, I have this one token, and I see what it sees as opposed to the whole screen.
Drag and drop a selection of nothing in the middle of nowhere, and it should remove your.
Yes.
Yep.
I got it. Okay. All right, we're good.
So
and actually,
you said you needed those 3, and I dropped those 3.
Yep. No, we're good. I did this the other day. I don't know why I didn't think of it now, but that's exactly what I did to clear that line of sight issue that had popped up. So let me see. Who do I got here? All right. So yeah, Winston, go ahead and break the news to the rest of your team as you guys are getting ready to be briefed by Octavia Wescott, who is currently probably scrolling through her. It's not a smartphone taped to her wrist link device.
Yes, yes.
I mean,
Wescott?
I would pass them the, hey, this location, bam, send the map, send it over to our map dude who's driving. We're to report here, retrieve this particular item. Don't use lethal weapons if we don't have to.
All right, Wescott.
Is
I have
that the
something-
appropriate summarization of what information I received?
More or less. I also was not listening 100% because I was trying to get people positioned on this map.
I need to declare something really quickly.
I love how you said that. All roads lead to face hunters,
yes.
Australia says. Hey,
Yes.
how you doing?
These are flashbangs, and I think most of the rounds here are actually sim rounds.
Okay, so
If you like, Rodance, you can also very easily have your character double check her mags and shit to confirm or validate what your
or
team
orders
leader's
say
saying.
to leave immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a
me
DM question.
Yeah, let me double check my notes just to make sure that is what it says. I think it said. Yeah, your last order was to, when you're ready, brief your team or squad. You have not yet been given
Did they include move out time frame when we're supposed to gather any of that?
Yes. I'm going to make a GM call real quick. Yes, and by comparing the note, or excuse me, by comparing the time listed and the current time, you've got about 4 minutes.
Oh, we do a quick check to see if everything is sim stuff or not. And if it's sim, we very carefully mark the things that aren't sim.
Oh no, everything around you is all sim. As you are moving through the process of checking,
Final checks. I tell them to make it look like we're just doing final gear checks before we
Yeah.
roll out.
your unnamed NPC, as you know, as NPC as the day is long, section sergeant stops one last time before hopping into his own vehicle, looks at you, Wescott, and he's like, Corporal, what in the shit are you doing right now? That is not the final checks as you say it is. I do need you to explain.
Do I have enough of a rapport with this individual for to have a hand signed for simulation rounds or for a sim mission?
I will say, I'm gonna say yes. This is your immediate supervisor.
Yeah, I make the hand gesture for. I say out loud, just doing final double checks.
But you're doing the under the
All
cover.
good, and then I do the little wink, wink, nudge,
Yeah.
nudge. Yeah, making sure it's all sim.
Yeah, you see him kind of does something of a double take, and then he glares at you like, and this is, you would know probably from his body language. This is one of those. I'm trying to figure out how to best phrase this. You know that is his look for no shit. Let's go.
Let
As
my
if to
people up and
suggest-
go. We are not late.
As if to suggest
Not
this
late.
obviously this is a sim, but I can't exactly say that this is a sim. But he's got to play the game. He's got to play the role.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he gives you that look and that stern glare, and he says, "Yeah, no shit. Get in your truck. It's time to go." And then he stops and he looks at the other vehicles around him, and he's like, "Let's go!" And hops
Out
into
we
his.
move.
He actually hops into what would otherwise be, in modern terms, this would be like a Humvee, but it's probably more like a four-wheeled fucking all-terrain vehicle, camoed up and armored up and all that.
Is it
And-
raining right now?
No, actually, it's not.
Okay.
That
matters for Seaburn people.
Yeah.
That extra stealth and rain, man.
So, as you all head out, there are 3 APCs, and then there are a couple various other vehicles, smaller vehicles, Humvee types. Sim and Pike, you are in the third of those 3 APCs. Overnight, you came down, you sat and talked with Captain Brooks and came up with this wonderful idea. And then you snagged like a 2 or 3 hour nap before the festivities kicked off. Zim and Pike are seated in the back. You guys this is your vehicle, but it's your people driving it. So it's just you two in the back for right now. And Zim is looking at you like, well, at least one of them's not entirely stupid and on the take. It didn't take him until just a few minutes ago to realize that they were all given sim rounds. What do you think? He's gonna say, I can't use that gruff voice I had earlier. Yeah. It's gonna kill my throat, but
attention to detail is it's a hard skill to train.
And it is. I think it's one of those things you only get through experience. Speaking of experience,
I like that one. Which one noticed?
It looked like it was their medic.
Oh boy.
The XT-37 Stinger and the C-Mom is probably the closest version to the Hummer, according to Australis. Thanks. We'll go with that. There's probably a couple of those for like the seniors, like the section sergeant, the captain, unless they all wanted to roll out in an APC based on the mission. But we'll roll with that. Maybe they have like a vehicle. In fact, what they probably do is they probably got a couple of Humvees or these Stingers that they would use for, if they want to run around in a, not necessarily in the garrison, but like not exactly full tactical, full combat scenario, such as this, which may have been another clue, but maybe you guys are just too damn busy trying to get all your shit all lined up and packed away correctly.
Are we connected to their cameras in here?
That's a great question. You know what? I think yes. I think that would be something that Captain Brooks would have been like, either, no matter who suggested it, Captain Brooks would have been like, yeah, no, that's a great idea. Let's do that. That way you guys can actually, and you get not just these 4. You get the other 4.
Yeah.
You get the other 4.
I think what I want to do is I want to isolate the audio for both squads.
Mm-hmm.
so I can toggle which squad I'm listening to on the speakers inside the vehicle, so Sim and I can listen to their planning and their teamwork
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
while we're watching the cams.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. While all that's going on, the APCs and the attendant stingers roll on out, and they spend probably about, let's see, I said 100 kilometers an hour, or 100 kilometers away. It will probably take a couple hours. And it is basically pre-dawn dawn. So it's probably like 5, 6 a.m. The sun is just starting to come up. What you have here at this point, let me actually close that for the thing, and I need to pull you guys onto the map. I don't have vehicle tokens, so bear with me. Let's see. Alright, technical difficulties. Not difficulties, I'm learning. So I need to... Okay, the map is activated. What do I need to do to make sure everybody can see the map? As
They just need their tokens on
okay,
there.
so that's all I need to do. Okay. Let's put you guys. How did that not work? Let's try that. Oh no, there it is. It took a second for it to actually show up. All right, I'm putting these on here. Just whatever. You guys have the option of assigning your order of march or whatever, but effectively this is where your APC stops and kicks you out. Can you guys see on there? You should be able to.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, and then you guys should see only a limited amount. Shouldn't see the whole map.
Yeah, we got some shadow and
Okay.
stuff.
All right, awesome. So this is where the APC deposits you. The other two APCs that you rolled out with, one you can't see it at all. You don't know where it is, but there is a second APC off in the distance. Kind of, for lack of a better way to put it, probably a command and control type sort of thing. Probably, if the commander was going to be anywhere, that's probably where the commander is. Or you know your section sergeant is running around in one of the stingers, but otherwise, that's probably your point of contact. What you do see also is one of those stingers zoom up next to you. Park, wash of dust, blown away shortly after by the wind. It is your section sergeant, previously unnamed Staff Sergeant John Doe, I should say. Actually, that is his name. Fuck it, why not? We'll go for memery here too. Staff Sergeant Doe, except it's spelled D-O-U-G-H, but his first name is John. You've seen it. He's no longer wearing his helmet. He's wearing a soft cap, which is basically, like the patrol cap or whatever. And his weapon is stowed in the back of the vehicle. He just looks at you, Corporal Wescott, and says, "You got your order. You better get moving."
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Basically give the roll on out. How much? So we've had several hours. So do we have any telemetry of the area? I mean, images or the like?
You've gotten not a lot, and no real good reason why. Give me 1 second. I got somebody knocking on the door. Be right back. Somebody's bringing me tequila, I think. Nope. Oh, the keys. I'm getting the key. Okay. I wish I could, but it's going to be like another half hour, at least 45 minutes before I'm ready. Yeah. Never mind. No, you will not. I will. Okay, hold on. Now I got to mute.
Jeez.
Yeah, so now you guys got to figure out how to do this.
No. I'm not even talking about the game. I'm looking at my cat, and the fucker's playing with a cockroach.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
I have mice.
I had mice. I hired an exterminator. I no longer have mice.
Now you have cockroaches.
I honestly, in the 3.5 years I've owned this house, that is exactly cockroach number 4. And it's right by the front door, so that probably got tracked in when people came home.
Oh, okay.
All right. I know I've been sitting here, but I've not actually been here. So, I just also noticed the time. So we've got about a half hour. What we can do, actually, I'll leave it up to the group. Do we want to break here for the night? Because this next section I can't guarantee will be done in 30 minutes or less.
How long do you think it'll take?
I have no idea because this is the first time I've done combat in Alien RPG. So we can end here, or we can move on and then take a break and call it for the night whenever we need to. It's up to you guys.
Combat rules are pretty simple,
Yes, they are.
like most of the rules in this game.
Yeah.
So
I'm fine time-wise, but I also was late because work, so my schedule's way later than the rest of yours.
Yeah. I can
Yeah,
go a little bit
I'm getting
longer
it.
than 10 o'clock my time, but I know time is a little bit different for you guys, so.
Yeah,
I also don't want to go
all
all that long either. Sorry.
It's gonna be too soon, and I got a tooth that's getting pulled tomorrow morning at 9. But I mean, I don't have to really be awake for that, so.
I don't think you want to.
I wouldn't. I digress.
No, I'm gonna be like sort of awake. I know that. Just
I'll tell you my advice from when I had mine pulled for when my wisdom teeth came in.
okay.
Dry socket is not a joke. Listen to
No.
them and don't touch straws.
Don't touch
Or
straws.
smoke if you
Don't
smoke.
smoke. Don't vape. I know. Yeah, they're pulling out a really dastardly devil there out of my face, and it's not a wisdom tooth, but it's just been really, really annoying.
Mm-hmm.
At any rate, do we want to initiate this or shall we close here? I'm good with either answer. I just don't want to put anybody into a weird position in the next half hour. I think we can get through it fairly quick because, as Kane said, the combat system is relatively simple compared to others, but also it's up to you guys. Time is a little bit trickier for some than it is for others. I'll leave it at that.
We did start a little bit later, and this is a cliffhanger kind of moment. However, I am
Not the
open to
cliffhanger I
being
wanted,
like,
though, but please, go
no,
ahead.
but I do accept that I'm in it for the long haul if need be.
Okay. Kane, Rodance, what would you guys like to do? I think we got one
good.
for
I'm
sticking
good
out.
time-wise, so I'm not the one to ask.
Kane's
I've been
just
awake
gonna...
for 7 hours. Hashtag student.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was waiting for Kane to say hashtag student life as his only answer to this. So. We're gonna press on. Hopefully we don't go too long over our normally scheduled end time. Unfortunately, we did get that nearly an hour late start, but I digress. Here's what I'm going to do. I will be first and foremost. I'm going to be honest about. Let me pull this up so that the viewers can see it. Observer needs line of capability to see. Tech support, can you give Observer the ability to see as a player? Because right now he doesn't have
it. When I select their token, they have player vision.
Okay. On my screen, for whatever reason, they don't. It like Observer screen is black, so I don't know. But I need to.
Did you left click on the observer token to select that token?
I can't. Yeah, I can't even see where the token is. So. Oops.
Can you see it now? On
Yes,
the top
I
edge?
can now.
Okay.
I'm gonna put him.
So if you toggle visibility state, you should be able to see it, and I should lose it.
Just like that.
Say that one more time.
If you toggle the visibility on observer, you should still be able to see it, and I should lose it. So just right click on the token and set visibility state.
I don't have
Top
that
right
option for some reason. I have assign status effects. Maybe. Hang on. Sorry. Yeah, I have only 4 options. I have assign status, toggle combat. Then on the left is the 0, and then the bullseye looking thing.
Unselect the token.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and drag on observer yourself.
Okay, I think I did. I still can't see anything. I'm not even sure if I actually did.
I don't see it on the board.
It doesn't even act like it's dragging him. Oh, you know what? I'm stupid. I'm on observer. I need to do it as the GM. Jesus Christ. I should know better than this. Okay.
And now as GM, you should be able to toggle visibility state.
Because I was trying to do it as a player. God damn it. Okay.
Yeah, you'll get used to it. I mean, the dual account thing is a little disorienting at first.
Yeah. All right, so now he's invisible.
Okay. Yep, so you can move him anywhere you want. He's a camera that the players can't see.
All right, so for right now, we'll just keep them with the players. Move them with the players. Except the observer can't see anything. God damn it.
But you can see what the players see.
Not on my screen as observer. I have a black screen again, and I don't know why. Is it because he's invisible? It is because he was invisible. Because now I can.
Isn't Zerver like a white face with eye holes and a hood?
Yeah, it's just
we're gonna need to change that picture.
Yeah, that looks like the default token or something.
It is a default token. So for you guys and the viewers, that's just the camera of, with the viewers at home. That's the camera that we're playing that is showing on the TV. How about that?
We'll find a more elegant solution for this later.
Yeah. Okay, so second thing, zones. I'm not 100% clear on exactly how that works. However, the general gist is zones is how, instead of doing like grid combat that we're otherwise used to, or measuring a distance from A to B, it's a little bit different. One square, and then any square adjacent to that square, that's one zone. Does that make sense?
That's pretty small.
You know what? You're right.
So to give you an idea, the size of the zone is going to determine what short range is for guns.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go with.
And then medium range is going to be 2. Long range is going to be 3. And extreme is going to be 4.
We'll do multiples of 3. And then if they are adjacent or in the same zone, that is your is it engaged? Is that what your melee range is?
Engaged is if 2 tokens are next to each other.
But right, that's
it's melee range.
Yes, thank you. I was the term is still floating around my head, and I'm trying to find it, and my brain's stuck on it. But that was what I was thinking of from like Warhammer. When you're in close range, when you can't use anything other than a pistol or a melee weapon. I digress. Adjacent or same cell is your engaged range. Otherwise, it's multiples of 3 for short, medium, long, extreme. Does that make sense to you guys?
Mm-hmm.
And then movement. Kane, refresh my memory on movement within zones, movement crossing zones.
You can be anywhere you want within a zone. You can use your fast action to move. It's your move action. If you take a single move action, you can go to an adjacent zone anywhere you want within that zone.
Which actually is...
I'm sorry, if you give up both of your actions, you can move 2 zones.
Which on this map is going to be quite a bit. You could literally cross the map probably in one turn. Well, no, that'd be 6 squares.
No.
6 squares is with both fast and slow.
Yeah. Zones are something you use in Fate. So you don't define it by squares. It's literally
you pick areas and it becomes
basically you say you need a draw tool. You don't need a square. The squares aren't going to help you when you discuss zones. Basically, you draw a blob in that zone 1, and then you draw a bigger blob past the zone, past it, and that's zone 2, and then it's another blob. Think of it as blobs of space. Don't think of it as squares. Squares will just trip you up.
And that's probably because I'm so used to dealing with squares or hexes or some other arbitrary line.
Realistically, I don't.
Do we
You see these 2 rocks that are close to us?
Yeah.
That big arc for this corner.
Yeah.
That would be the first zone.
That makes sense.
All this crud in the middle here around the walls, middle zone.
And then the
farther
far
side of that,
free zone.
long zone.
Yeah.
Unless
yeah.
you're saying we're in the middle of a huge valley, then you'd tighten that up some. But realistically, this is a 3-zone map.
I can live with that. Does that make sense to the rest of you?
Yep.
In that case, it is up to Corporal Wescott to figure out how she wants to advance. And then I will move the observer token as needed. And of course, somewhere along the way, something, dark side.
Well, our initial briefing says, hey, go retrieve this item. If we run into people, there are other squads out attempting to retrieve it.
Mm-hmm.
If we run into them, avoid lethal interaction unless fired upon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, I guess I'd send Seaburn first, because just for checking for basic ass tripwires and shit like that, and otherwise we just move in chunks.
Mhm.
So I guess me and Seaburn would go first, and then
And
Corman
Seaburn,
and
off the top of my head, Seaburn is
my minion.
okay. That is DW, correct?
Yeah, me and minion will go first,
Okay.
and then you two will take a terrain of opportunity movement type of thing where you pick a side and that makes sense and go with it.
Yep.
So if it makes sense to flank, flank. If it doesn't, just follow us in.
Cap.
All right, go ahead and make
So
your
we'll
movement,
go
guys.
left or right if we need.
Yeah. And then, like, I would keep an eye out for more digital nonsense. He would keep an eye out for the more physical nonsense. I think
Cool.
that's how we'd pair up. So he'd be stepping in front of me, but it'd be something like that. So we'd move up to the edge of the zone, eyeball it, look around, check for stuff, and then keep moving. As those two would be pulling like Overwatch behind us and flanking as needed. Does that make sense?
Do you want to put people in initiative now?
Yeah, I was debating on when I wanted to do that. In order to do that, if I right click and then click the toggle whatever combat state.
If you just drag a box over all the tokens that are going to be in combat and then do the right click and dual swords.
I can make them dance.
I see that.
Now, did it automatically put them in? Why are there so many Herreras?
Why are there so many Herrera tokens? There's a bunch of them stacked right here.
Is that what it is?
Jeez.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay.
I'm getting rid of all.
Yeah, see that.
Hold on.
I apologize, Kane.
Oh,
I did
wow,
not know
okay.
that was going to happen like that. Probably when I was trying to place him and wondering why it wasn't working.
Okay, that looks normal.
Okay. Now,
Oh, interesting. Your observer has like a lot of black lines. For me, I see the map,
mhm.
but it's just light gray shading for where the shadow is. For me.
Yes,
Yeah,
because I
so
believe I had
what's-
Fog of War
Yeah,
exploration.
if you've already seen it, you remember the terrain. You
Yeah.
just don't know it's actively there anymore.
Okay.
So you
And
can
then-
you can remember that there's a hill back there, but what you won't know is if anybody moved on it unless you have line of sight to it.
Mm.
Kane.
And then you just
I'm
click
sorry.
the roll all. And then if you just click the roll all button, it'll give everyone their initiative.
Okay, and which one of those buttons is that?
In
roll
the
all. It's right
crossword
there.
tabs. Yep.
Okay.
And it'll reorder everything. So top to bottom is the initiative order.
Yep. So, that would mean Leland Winston is up first at this point. I gotta click on begin combat. Although combat hasn't actually taken place yet, so until someone takes a shot. So basically, this is what I'm gonna do. Effectively on Foundry, combat has begun, but narratively, and what is actually happening, there is no actual combat. So you guys are free to move as needed. I may need to adjust based on the initiative thingy.
We'll just call it timed actions.
Yeah, let's go with that.
It's just timed actions. It's
Yeah.
so we're not. It's so we each take turns in the same amount of time.
Yep. So
It's
Winston.
an RP, timed RP, basically.
Yep, Winston, go ahead and make a movement. I think you guys can see the initiative tracker thingy, correct? If you go to the cross sword tab.
If you want to make just left click on your own token to select only yours.
Yeah, it was kind of stuck to. Cap.
Warren was being needy.
Warren was being. I see some people's.
You do.
Do.
You definitely did. Although, I guess maybe Well, let's just we'll normal. I think I was originally intending for you to have to make observation rolls if you did get line of sight, but fuck it, you definitely saw a couple people there.
Okay.
There's no argument there. You definitely saw them. If anything, you saw the flash of the flash of light reflecting off
lamp
of
lights.
something. Well,
Yeah.
not even that. You saw like light bouncing off of something reflective, like like the camera scope or maybe it was somebody's muzzle or something like that.
Okay.
You definitely noticed something. I was gonna have you make observation rolls, but for the sake of time, we'll skip that part.
Okay.
Next up is Wescott. Make your movement, please. Also, Winston, if you would like, you definitely have a few seconds of which you can mention contact south or various other sorts of reports.
Sorry. Yeah. So, contact south. There seems to be a couple. I'm not sure about any other numbers.
So, I would take my one action to go over here and take cover around the corner.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm colliding with a wall. But you get my point. I want to be hiding behind that corner.
I got you.
And then sticking out a little bit so I can see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to get it to behave. And then I'm looking around for the object that we are supposed to be getting.
Okay. I will just tell you, you have not yet had an opportunity to. You have not seen anything that gives it away. Let's put it that way.
Well, I mean, they're saying we're supposed to be looking for a satellite component.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either in a shed on a workbench or
it's in a hole in the ground
explosion.
somewhere.
So I'm not seeing a hole in the ground.
Yeah. So for clarity, your orders were that you are to retrieve this satellite core that has already been retrieved by other insurgents who have brought it to what they believe is this location, because a second team will be arriving in order to take the satellite core off planet. So this is like the holding
so we're beating
area.
their people who are stealing it. Okay.
Correct. Give me one quick second.
So, I mean, I'll do the tack-to-move thing where you move up and cover and make sure my people are overwatch the things. There are proper words. My brain does not want to use them today, apparently. But move and cover and types of things.
Yeah, I got you. Give me one more quick second. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, I had to answer a question for my son. Yeah, tactical movement, trying not to be spotted, etc. I will tell you that from your particular angle, you do catch a hint of something to the south from your current location. Although that's specifically tokens on the screen, but I digress. Next up is...
Well, since I know it's insurgents, I would specifically be looking for... I'd take some cover and then I'd be
specifically
looking for booby traps on building.
Okay. If you'd like, you can make an observation roll.
Yes. I accidentally closed out my sheet. Give me a moment. Skills. People mean strings and nasty things.
They should write that because it almost rhymes. You don't notice anything in particular standing out. It appears as though if they had the time and wherewithal, they could have set up a number of booby traps and nasty little surprises, but you don't actually find anything in any of the what otherwise could be considered expected locations.
I do the like might click or whatever form of we indicate what we can see thing.
Mm-hmm. Did
the equivalent of the it looks clear for now hand sign.
Yep.
No traps.
Yep. And you only moved Wescott. You did not move Watts, correct? Or is Watts?
You didn't tell me it was Watts' turn.
Okay, nope, that's fair. If you also at the top right there, if you click on the double swords tab, you'll see the order. You should see the order of initiative.
Yeah, he goes after some of the other miscellaneousness.
The other people. In that case, I will ask this question: is Watts exactly where he is? as shown on the
He's
map.
kind of using the look. Assume because we can't put them in middles of things or
Yeah, yeah.
across wall bits.
Yeah, so
Assume
he's using
making
some
the
cover
best
there.
of the rock for
Yeah.
cover.
Okay.
The same way that I'm trying to use this building for cover.
Yep, I got you. Because in that, if assuming that, where am I? Who's this?
It doesn't let me sit in a half square.
Yeah, it's probably only going to lock you into the square.
Yeah.
You do hear, as you're shuffling about, the rather obvious sound of a ranged weapon. Fuck, I can't think of what word I'm trying to say here. Give me a second.
Are they shooting at him?
Yes, Watts is being shot at. I'm trying to think of what he's being shot at by, and it's totally escaping me.
Pulse rifle.
Yes, an
Pulse rifle or smart
M42A scope rifle, single shot round goes off and strikes Watts.
They fucking sniped him?
Yes, they
Okay,
did.
so
Not
Watts,
cool.
So Watts gets to make an armor roll.
Yes, he does. Oh, I did not mean to make that second roll. I apologize. God damn it. I meant to look.
Okay. So first would you say Watts is in cover?
He
Yes.
does have some cover. I will say that.
Okay, it's stone, right?
Yes.
So would you say that that's the equivalent of like an inner bulkhead or an outer bulkhead or an armored, like a specifically armored bulkhead?
I. It's
The only way it
stone.
goes down from there is like a wooden door. So
Yeah, no, it's definitely stone.
So it's
maybe
whatever
outer
the
bulkhead?
thing up
Yeah.
right above. The,
Yeah, let's go with
Okay.
that. We'll go with
door
armor
is.
bulkhead.
all right. So on Watts' character sheet,
Uh-huh.
on his general tab, at the very bottom left, you'll see armor, and it should say 6 in the
6.
box.
Uh-huh.
If you right click on it to get a modifier box, he's going to get a base modifier of 6 for the cover he's in. And then roll that.
That is a bunch of successes. That sounds like it just mitigated
So
pretty much all his
each of-
damage.
Yeah, each of those successes will cancel a point of damage. If it reaches 0, then the cover or the armor took it, which in this case exactly canceled it.
Yeah. Also, I believe I just unequipped the. Oh, never mind. I did it right. Okay. If I want to find. Oh, it actually says it on here. Damage 2. I had 1 success, so that's only 2 damage.
And then the other 2 successes could have been put into damage, but it still wouldn't have been enough to overcome the shot. He doesn't.
Oh, I did have multiple.
It's ineffectual.
Yeah. So he would have taken 4 damage, and he rolled 4 successes. So yeah, net 0 is what I'm hearing.
So
Okay.
catches it in the armor, but he's fine.
Yeah, I think the bullet. Yeah, you hear the single shot of this high-powered pulse rifle. It is a single shot, which is possibly concerning to those that hear it because it's only one as opposed to several. And yeah, Watts takes the hit. I think what happens is the sim round hits the rock, spews off a few smaller pieces, and you hear Watts go, "Fuck, shit! It's almost in my eye! Jesus Christ, what the hell was that?" And that takes us to the next person, which is.
I kind of see Watts as like a former gangbanger. He's much more shit, fuck. People are shooting at us.
Yep.
Rather than, oh my god, my eye.
Yeah. He's like, shit, fuck, fuck. Marshall, where is Marshall on? Marshall, where I think they are. Yes, okay, we'll skip him. And Sanchez is where I think he is. Nope, that's the other guy. Sanchez. Ooh, Sanchez gets a shot. Sanchez. I probably shouldn't be saying this out loud because I don't think the camera would be able to catch all this. And I think our viewers may not be able to see all the cool stuff going on. As Watts is sitting there going, what the fuck, or whatever, a burst of more rounds come out from the same general direction. So, damn it, I closed it too soon. What are we looking at here? This is the standard pulse rifle, so you do hear the very familiar sound of the well-known pulse rifle, the M41A. Several rounds bursting out And looks like we got 2 damage being applied to Mr. Watts here. So Watts gets another ammo roll, I believe, or armor roll, I should say.
So now that we've talked about how cover works with armor and how to do armor rolls, the pulse rifle and the last rifle, but I didn't mention it because it keeps things simple to learn one thing at a time, are armor piercing.
Correct.
So armor piercing, you make your big total dice pool, and then you reduce it by half.
Oh,
So-
I clicked the button without adding stuff to it. Give me a minute. I'll fix that.
He gets his six cover, and then you get a positive modifier 6, and then you armor piercing it.
There we go.
Oof.
So he's
Is
gonna take
2
that.
points of damage. I'm going to verify that because I feel like that's not right, but it probably is. Yeah, 2
I
damage.
suddenly understand why everybody dies very quickly if they take 2 points of damage at a time and they only have 4 health.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Yeah,
I want to be
take
clear.
a lot more than 2 in a single hit too. So
Yeah. I want to be clear. Obviously, we are simulating, so Watts is not actual in mortal peril here. Watts did take a shot. The sim round plastered itself across his, chest plate or whatever. And he's like, "Ooh, ow, ooh, oh my god, that stings even through the armor, motherfucker!" And then you'll notice somewhere where the, in the vicinity of the observer that you guys may or may not be able to see, is an actual observer. It is your section sergeant, Doe, who is sitting there kind of smirking to himself, and he kind of looks over at Watts and says, "Well, maybe next time you should fucking duck. Behind that rock. Clearly they have line of sight on you, dumbass." And he chuckles, and you see him pull off in his little go-kart Stinger. It's not a go-kart, but you get the idea.
Fucking golf cart asshole.
Yeah. Watts, you are up.
I mean, he can see them. That would put them at least 1 zone away because he's in the close zone.
Yeah, that's 1 zone. I didn't even think about the actual range, but I know if we went with our initial thought, we have the initial arc that you guys were
They're
in.
technically 2 zones away. So they're medium range.
Yep, which I believe is no modifiers for range. Because I forgot to account for that.
It's just how far your gun's effective.
Yeah. Which one of the 2 are you shooting at? I believe you can ping them. I don't know what button that is, but
you just click and hold.
I'm double checking the wording of something real quick.
Ah, yes, I see.
I'm not allowed to shoot incendiary rounds at them.
Your incendiary rounds look like incendiary rounds, except for the part where it says simulation.
Well, I don't think we were given permission to use that level of fuck you. So
yeah, we'll just go with you have sim rounds, so.
Yeah, but we weren't given permission to use extra lethal shit.
Correct.
So he chucks a fucking grenade, my electroshock grenade at him that I handed to him.
Okay, I need to ask really quick. This is a legit electroshock grenade that is on your inventory list and all that. I'm assuming
that is correct.
It is a less lethal weapon. So.
Okay.
That is a less than lethal weapon.
All right, so what you are given, it will function just like this electroshock, as you mentioned. But what you have been given, of course, is a flashbang simulator made to look like your electroshock.
Yeah.
So for training purposes, here it will do what it's intended to do in that regard, but it is just simply a flashbang.
Oh yeah. So he looks at it, curses to himself because he knows it's a sin thing, and chucks it.
Okay, can you ping the one of the 2 that you were actually going for? Although you're probably gonna hit them both.
Yeah.
The closer one.
Okay.
Well, if you don't
it
miss,
looks like the one.
The area should hit both of them.
Yeah, because I just remember that grenades basically damage the entire zone.
Yeah. Right. See if you see if it goes where you want it to.
Ox is like, "Fuck you guys," and gets 2 successes.
In particular.
Yeah.
It's fuck you. In particular.
It's fuck you to a whole zone, technically. Now, what is the damage rate on that grenade? What is it? What is
Stun
its actual
effect
effect?
-2.
I'm sorry?
Stun effect -2.
Yeah. So you have an extra 6 you can spend on a stunt, so you want to shop for that. So stun effect -2 means that the 2 characters who got hit by this have to make stamina rolls at a -2 penalty, or they lose their next turn as they get banged.
Okay. So you throw this electroshock pretend grenade, and it goes pretty much where you want it to go, and you hear the oh so familiar sound of a flashbang, and then
Where
these
do I
two.
look for stunts for a weapon?
So you go to your skills and you look at stunts for range combat.
Okay.
Look at us trail this in stream chat. He's like, instead of setting them on fire, it hoses the victim with skunk musk. God damn, dude.
That is less than lethal.
It is less than lethal, but man, it may lead to a horrendous fistfight later. All right, I need to make stamina rolls for these 2 knuckleheads here.
Okay, so
let's see. Stamina -2, you said, yes?
Oh, you said panic is sucky, right? Extra suck?
So it's the more stress they have, the more it'll suck. If they have very little stress, it probably won't do anything.
Okay. I use number 4 then. They drop a weapon or other handheld item. I choose one of those chuckle fucks drops a weapon.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, it will be the one with the sniper rifle because he just failed his stamina roll and will be missing out on his next turn. The other one, gotta remember which one this is.
Oh, and then he gets a second action, right?
That was his slow action. He still has a fast action.
Yeah. Is this right here an open doorway? Next to what looks like a little flaggy bit?
Yeah, I'm thinking off the top of my head because I don't remember if I remember that. It is indeed an open doorway, but give me just a moment because I still got to get this other roll in because I'm trying to remember who's who here. Stamina. Come on.
Yeah, because technically, Olivia, my main, is actually in the middle zone, while he is in the outer zone, on the close zone. So she's actually technically 1 zone closer to them than he is. Because I kind of envisioned like a circle around the middle.
Okay.
So,
is there a way to mark the one that failed the roll as miss next turn or something to that effect?
I mean, you can assign status effect and pick one of the pictures that looks most appropriate.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options.
There is, and they're not entirely easy to see.
Here, why don't we do that little unconscious face?
Sure. It would be Hayden, not Mark, whoever the other guy is.
Right, well, he's Mark.
There you go. That one. Okay. And now back into the combat. Watts is done. Or did Watts... Nope, I'm sorry. You're right. Watts wanted to do something else.
Watts wanted to know if this was an open doorway.
It is an open doorway.
Watts will walk his ass through the open doorway because he does not like being shot at.
Okay. Go ahead and move him up.
More comprehensive. Fuck! That is the appropriate response, okay?
I don't know what's happening over there.
I feel like Pike is watching this helmet cam and he looks over at Szymborski and says, "Absolute moron, but I like the aggression."
In case you're not able to see, you can't see, so I need to switch views really quick. So here's what happened. I gotta put the observer in the room. Oh, you only see one. He only is.
Do we hear the
okay,
big
1 second.
fuck?
Yeah, 1 second. What does Watts see inside that room besides the observer?
2 people.
Okay, good. Because I might. Oh, there he is. Okay. All right. Yeah. I think
he specifically sees a hernia in Sanchez.
Yeah. Herrera,
whatever.
Yep.
They're not my people. I don't care.
Yeah.
Well,
I will say this much. I will say this much. At this very close range, you recognize that your quote-unquote insurgents are one of the other teams in your platoon. Or squads, I should say. Which would be the other squad in your platoon. Some of these faces were absolutely in that meeting, or in the hallway yesterday, to see Captain Brooks. You can recognize that immediately, because as you as Watts rounds the corner and into the room, Herrera is holding a smart gun, and the other guy is carrying a pulse rifle.
Yeah, that'll be fuck. 2 more guns.
Most importantly, you are in. Oh my god. Yeah, I think actually what happens as soon as Watts moves into that room, you see coming around from over here, on the far side of the building, you see your section sergeant pulling up in his Stinger and says, "Watts, you're dead. That is a smart gun. That is a pulse rifle."
Shit!
In fact, and what happens? I need Watts to roll. I believe you can do it right off the character sheet. I need Watts to roll critical.
Those are he's gonna roll something lethal or very damaging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why we skip damage at this point and go straight to roll critical. Yep, there you go. All right, so that effect that you just rolled, the broken hand, is what showed up on my screen. You see your section sergeant hand a 3x5 laminated card over to Watts and says, "Congratulations, dumbass. This is your injury. Come out here and lay down until you are treated." So I need Watts to be brought to, basically he's being told to move over here, which I realize is not actually a few feet from the building. It would be several feet. There you go. Yep. It's somewhere more or less out of action. That will take us to Warren. Warren definitely hears the fuck, and then the Stinger rolling up on the other side of the rocks from his location, and you hear some more strings of cursing from Watts as he's being told to go lay down and play dead.
All right.
He's the type who would play dead with several middle fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Or he might just lay there and start playing cards, either or.
Start just
lay on his stomach, play
some
fucking solitaire.
Perfect. That's perfect. Your section sergeant.
He lays on his stomach, starts playing some solitaire.
Yeah, Staff Sergeant Doe says, "No, give me those fucking cards. I'll give them to you later. Don't move. It's your right hand, and if you keep playing fuck around, I'll give you another card."
All right, so Warren stops over here and sees through the doorway one of the guys. Is that the section sergeant or no?
No, the section sergeant's like over here in the Stinger. What you see here, is a smart gunner.
Smart gunner.
Or,
okay,
machine gunner, but that's a smart gun.
And I pop a couple shots at him, I guess.
Yeah, if you would like to, yes.
All right. Let's see. How do I manage this again? All right, so this is the first time I shoot something.
So you just is while the weapon is in the active side of the inventory, you just click on the name of the gun.
Yep.
Pop.
All right. That is.
Now, you do have the option to push attack rolls if you want to try to get some more successes.
I do kind of.
It will give you a point of stress, but that will also give you an extra die.
Doing it.
Ooh. No change.
Okay. Nope. Okay. It's a total of 2 successes. You got another one.
All right, cool.
I see 1 6.
See the green text on the bottom and the fact that dice pool's 1 die smaller. He only re-rolls the failed dice.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. All right. So yeah. So a total of 2 successes, as it says right there in the green text. Yeah. Okay. That will be 3 damage with the pulse rifle. Yeah, damage 3 plus 1.
If he wants to spend his extra success on damage.
That other, you have the stunts. You can do. God, let me. All right. So for every extra success, inflict more damage, pin the enemy, possession yourself, and get to exchange initiative score. Force them to drop the weapon or another handheld object. Or your opponent falls to the ground or is pushed back, for example, through an airlock.
Oh, I'm just going to go for straight damage, I guess.
Okay. So this is...
Armor piercing.
Ooh, that's right. Yeah, armor piercing. I need on... Which one of these guys is my machine gun? Oh, that's Herrera. We've already identified. Inventory. I should be able to just click on the armor, correct?
And on the general tab in the bottom left is armor, is where you click the word armor to roll armor.
Oh yeah, I see it. And I take away 1 damage. Oh, I didn't. I apologize. I didn't roll. Armor piercing. I'm sorry. Okay.
Same result.
Yep. So that is only 2 damage.
That is
Okay.
2 damage.
My side is not. Hold on. What am I doing wrong here? I have 0 of 7 health. Oh, I can't go lower than that. Duh. Because I set them to 0. Okay. All right. That takes us to. Oh, wrong button. That takes us to Herrera, who is going to scooch forward. Barely sees this guy, Bots. And he is going to let rip. Verify something real quick. Traits, skills. He has machine gunner. So he will not gain stress firing full automatic. Now, for firing full automatic, do I need to do something with range combat? Change that?
No, you just right click on the gun to give yourself your modifier for it.
What is the modifier for full auto?
Full auto fire is a +2 modification.
Oops. Nope. There. All right. Wow. Really?
Ha.
For those that don't know,
Herrera is a superstar.
yeah, Herrera, I think is a bit surprised. Wow, 12 dice, and I rolled 0 6s. That's Jesus Christ. Okay, all right. Amazing that in that blast, Herrera was not able to get anywhere. Considering the time, I will pose this question to the group before we start round 2 of combat. We can do a.
We're short a person in Zoom.
Uh-oh. Who did we lose? We lost Luke.
Luke.
Yeah. Okay. Let's give Luke a moment before we panic. Man, that is
I like how the fact that my sweater blends into the couch means my blur does not like to work.
say that one more time?
I mean, earlier you were missing an arm, so that was good.
Look in Zoom.
Oh, yes. Yeah, sometimes portions of my body also disappear because it doesn't quite get caught. Well, let me see what Discord says, if anything. Nothing yet.
It shows him offline.
That's not a good sign. All right, I will pose this to the group, as the group is, because of the time and the potential of not sure what's going on with Luke. I was going to ask this question: do we simply pause X here, or do we make a handful of quick rolls to determine the overall result of this engagement? If we pause here, we will continue combat from this point next week, or we resolve it here with just a couple of rolls.
I say let's just resolve it because, frankly, I have a feeling I have an idea where this is going. And I think it's a better cliffhanger to be resolving talking to these people than it is to come back to shooting someone with sim rounds.
All right, Luke.
I've never read it, but I'm a betting person and I've done enough RPGs to know.
Yeah, Luke says connection drop to be back in just a moment.
I also vote for the summary rolls. I think there's a few technical things that we can do between sessions that'll help with some of the things that tripped us up in the first half hour.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I can make I can make something to add to our share folder.
Ooh.
I'll make a no shit super incredibly abridged combat reference
There
to
you
try
go.
to make this go easier for everybody.
Nice. Okay, so here's what I would like to do. To simulate the combat phase, it will be just simply a combat roll from each of the currently active combatants, which presently is 3 hostiles to the 4 of you, other than the fact that Luke is attempting to reconnect.
I'm back.
Luke again.
Oh, Luke is back.
Yep. I just have
The-
to go under my desk and pull the Wi-Fi adapter out and pull it back in.
Excellent. Let me
It's
pull
very,
my...
very effective.
There we go. Okay. All right, so here's what we're going to do, Luke. I don't know what you caught. Real quick, each combatant, let me rephrase that. Each active combatant will make just a simple combat roll. We're not going to roll damage. Obviously, we don't roll damage. It's just a matter of how much of a success you get.
Okay.
We decided we're going to summarize it instead of continue for the next hour of rolling rounds of combat.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So let's actually just start with. Oops.
Can I just say what my
Winston.
game plan was? Winston does her game plan, and
Yeah, we're just going to summarize. So, Winston, go ahead and make your combat roll, and then I'm just going to keep a tally of overall successes here.
What was your game plan?
my game plan was Matthew Warren was going to pin down Buddy over here. I don't know how to ping him.
Just press him
Leland
up,
was
okay.
going to go over here, and I don't know how to ping.
Let's
Drag
click and hold.
dumbass into cover.
Just click and hold.
Yeah, click and hold. So around here to try to get the angle on him, and then get Buddy off of his ass and up and running again.
Okay. Winston, what do you want? Let me ask this question. Winston, what exactly did you want to do with? Did you want to move him down to try to get Watts out of the way? Was that
No,
the
I
plan?
wanted to move him over here on the angle for these guys.
Okay.
This guy was going to go on the angle for this guy.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then hopefully we could do something so that we could get Buddy that's over here out of danger and back up and running.
Okay. Go ahead and give me. Okay, hold on. Let me think for a second. So what you want to do, Winston is actually going to move something like that, or maybe like that, and then you have Warren is your other guy, correct? Your other guy?
Yeah.
Okay, and you wanted Warren to do something like this to take out whatever's going on inside the building, correct?
No, I was going to stay where they were mostly.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, no, that's fine.
Yeah, okay.
And then Wescott, what were you going to do? Go ahead and make a movement to represent roughly what you were about to do.
I would have repositioned over to stop scrolling. Every time I go to pick up my token, it likes to sometimes scroll on me. Like up here.
Mm-hmm.
I would have come up and around because this is effectively one zone. Okay, that's not where I wanted to stop moving. Quit complaining. I'm not sure where I have to do these big roundabout things because it's mad about walls for some reason. I don't know why.
Walls shouldn't be that crazy.
Move. I want to move to this side of the rock.
Okay.
Because I'm literally just going up and then back down and along the backside of it.
Yeah. You're flanking around the wall.
I just wanted to move from that rock because, and then,
take him out.
Aim in that way.
Okay. All right, so we've got, effectively, what ends up happening is we've got Winston shooting at, I believe that's Marshall. Yeah, Marshall. We've got Warren shooting at Smart Gunner, and we've got Wescott shooting at, as it turns out, Sanchez. So, and they will also return fire in roughly the same pattern. So, starting with Winston, go ahead and make me your ranged attack roll, no modifiers.
Winston, ranged attack roll, no modifiers. Hiya.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Yeah, and there's no reason not to push. It's gonna be your only roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to push that and try for more successes, you absolutely can. And that gets
it's worth a try.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Okay. And then for Wescott, go ahead and make your range combat roll. No modifiers. Like 1. Would you like to push any of that? You did. And you have a stress roll to make now. I believe on your character sheet there is a stress button.
Yep.
Under general. And you are good to go.
So when you roll a facehugger when you're shooting, you've finished. You've dumped all the bullets in that magazine.
Yes, good point.
So you would have to do a reload after this, but this is the last roll. So
Yeah,
it
doesn't matter. You definitely come around that rock, and somewhere along the way, maybe you trip on something. You don't fall. You catch yourself. But you come around that big-ass rock, and you're like, I know there's motherfuckers in there. This is some bullshit. Fucking sim rounds. This whole day's fucking bullshit. This day is fucked at this point. And you come around that rock.
I want my 6 hours of sleep back.
Exactly. And you come around this rock, and then you stumble. But you catch yourself, and you manage to get yourself in a decent shooting position, and you fire, and you're just like, man, fuck these motherfuckers, blah, 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 blah. I know that's not exactly how a pulse rifle sounds,
but she is so thinking it.
There you go.
And if she still had grenades, she would have just chucked him and said, fuck it.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, old boy laying on the ground over there would totally shot grenade himself because he's this tired of them.
All right, Hayden is out this round for a variety of reasons. And then Marshall, which one is Marshall? Marshall's this one. So Marshall is firing on Winston. Oh god, my brain is trying to shut down on me. Here we go. Range combat. Nothing.
Nice.
Fuck.
Well, I guess in a summary, one person won that gunfight.
Yeah. And then wrong tab. Let's see who do we got. Sanchez. That is the one firing on Wescott. Let's pull up Sanchez with his he's not going to use the M5A3 RPG launcher that he currently has slacked on his back, but he definitely sees the rounds coming in from Wescott and says, fuck, 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 and returns fire with the pulse rifle. He does score 1 success for the bad guys. Let's see. Got to mark 1 or 2 small things here.
Jesus.
We'll just summarize that my rock is better than his gun.
Did you throw a rock at him?
No, I have cover.
You're rolling
we're
armor.
not doing armor rolls. We're just doing who has most successes.
Yeah, it's all more about the successes.
Yeah, but I just want to roll it anyways.
Yeah. Warren is shooting on the smart gunner. Warren, go ahead and make your combat roll. With that stress, facehugger, you also dumped a mag. Roll stress from Warren's character sheet, please. It's effectively a 1d6 plus 1, by the way, for those that don't know. Or a total of, I believe, 4. Yep. You're good, though. Good. That was... let's see. Your successes... Do successes still count? So would that have actually hit?
Yeah.
He just would have dumped his entire ammunition mag.
Yeah, he can't push the roll because his mag is.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. All right, so that is 2 on that. So that's that. And lastly, we have Herrera, who is going to let rip another full auto burst with the smart gun. And full auto is 2, you said, yeah?
Yep.
I don't know why I keep doing equals 2, not plus 2. Wow. I am rolling phenomenally.
And typically, of course, rule 0 is rule 0, but typically NPCs are not allowed to push rolls.
No, I know. I want to. I really, really want to. Because I've been playing the NPCs as though they are my characters, but I'm not going to. All right, so what we have is this. Over the course of the next few minutes, we have something of a rolling gun battle here. And unfortunately, well, the viewers can't see all this, so they're just gonna see facial reactions and shit. What we end up having is we have Winston ultimately making his way up the hill. At one point, the sniper pops his head up after his momentary disabling. Pops his head up and attempts to take a shot, but before he can, he is pelted across the helmet with a burst from Winston as he then moves up and catches Marshall totally unawares. Maybe Marshall was doing some sort of ammo reload or was pinned down by somebody else. Warren, at some point, manages to move in closer on the machine gunner and manages to take him out. And then we have Wescott, who basically, in something close to frustration, not quite rage, but is just kind of sitting there going, I'm sick of this shit. This is bullshit. This whole day is garbage. Basically rushes and from extremely close range declares very loudly, very boisterously, safety kill, fuck you, safety kill. And the Staff Sergeant Doe, your section sergeant, says, yep, that's a safety kill. Stand down, Marine. And the blue flag on the map was to represent the satellite core, by the way. You do extract the satellite core.
Yeah, I take the entire flag and the flagpole and the chunk of floor around it, and I shove that shit in my APC. I am that. And you know, just for shiggles, I probably would collect all the firearms off of all their bodies and their tags and their helmets just for show.
I think as you start that particular process, Staff Sergeant Doe's like, no. These are your fellow Marines, not real UPP guys. Let it go. Get to your truck.
At this point, they all know that they owe me chocolate later, or they will not be happy.
Oh, they know. I will allow that. I think at one point Marshall's like, God damn it. Okay, Wescott, we got it. Chocolate or beer, got it.
Honestly, it's not even expensive. I just want a freaking Hershey's, the space equivalent of a Hershey's bar. After dealing with all this, there's not enough caffeine to make up for being awake.
From your APC, Zim is, you can't tell. Like you've known Zim for a little while, maybe a year or two. You can't tell if he is utterly amused or just completely disappointed.
The observers on the way.
I'm sorry, what?
And I wave at the observers on the way.
Yeah, as you notice that this third APC that comes pulling up around the time that everybody's wrapping up, this third APC does not have the same, let's say, numbering sequence.
I think I'm enough of a comtech to know somebody's all up in my headset. I probably will do a little peace sign showing up.
Yeah.
Just like take your helmet and just peace sign your own helmet?
No. I would just do clicky, camera tweaks, it's a peace sign. God, they gave me my equipment long enough and I'm good enough. I'm probably have hacked my own gear. If I haven't, I'm disappointed.
She's got her own YouTube channel running off of her gear.
Fuck no, I'm not that dumb.
I'm just joking.
But I can pull up maps and shit of everything else I want.
Sergeant Pike, you've sat through this entire display, probably being fairly quiet, and I want to kind of wrap up, so I don't want to spend a lot of time here. Staff Sergeant Zimborski, you can't tell if he is amused or disturbed by the lack of he's just used to such a higher caliber of experience and expertise in this type of scenario. You can't tell if he's laughing or if he's just like, these motherfuckers, wow, this is going to take a lot of work. He just looks at you and he gives you that look that in just a few short seconds conveys an awful lot of information. What is Pike's response at this point to the knowing, questioning look on his face?
Yeah, this is that we're sharing. This is your share observations. We're still in private thing.
Yes.
So he'll look over and say, I like the medic. The medic has the makings of a rock star.
Interesting.
He sees, he's aggressive, and he didn't pay for it. He won with that aggression.
Corporal is something to keep an eye on too.
Good maneuver, maintained some aggression. Did not keep everything else together though.
Got the
But
job
that
done.
did let that idiot run to his death.
Funny thing about idiots, you can coddle them all you want, but sometimes they'll weed themselves out.
Yeah, I'm not expecting much from him.
All right. Oh, look, she's giving us the peace sign. Cute.
Context.
Right.
They get the equivalent of like the little cat emoji just peacing out and walking off. I don't
Yeah.
even have to do anything. I just press a button and
Yep. I think
because I know I could tell that they were watching.
Oh yeah, absolutely they were. I think what happens over the next few hours, basically the remainder of the day, there is what I would have known to call an AAR after action review. What were you supposed to do? What did you do? What went right? What went wrong? It's about a 30-minute, kind of grueling in some parts. They make mention of the fact that DW, who the fuck is that? David Watts.
Idiots aren't supposed to walk into doors.
Yeah, well, that David Watts basically charged into this room and died for it, effectively. I mean, granted, his casualty card said broken hand, but we all know in the real world, and I think Captain Brooks actually says this at one point. He's like, we all know in the real world, it would have been a lot more to the broken hand coming out of that fight. In fact, there wouldn't have been a whole lot left.
No. The broken hand was the only thing left.
Yeah, that's probably more accurate. Yeah. And there's a few other comments too. And then at one point, a grizzled. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. You're doing a thing.
Okay.
I was going to ask if Pike and Szymborski are here.
Yes, you are. I was actually getting ready to say that. At one point, probably about 5 or 10 minutes into this briefing, up walk two Marines that you do not recognize, but they immediately stand out. Simply because, and this is how I view it. So the line Marines, such as those of the 28th, the 4 Ws, you guys probably wear something like the old school BDU pattern camouflage.
You mean the splotchy camo, not the digital?
Correct.
Okay.
When Pike and when this sergeant and this staff sergeant approach, they are wearing digicams. I'm sure this is not canon for the Alien RPG universe, but for our sake, it is. So they immediately stand out based on that alone. Not to mention, of course, that they are now wearing a tactical vest and soft cap, as well as what your Staff Sergeant Doe was wearing.
Oh, by the way, cute. There you go.
What are you passing off?
The little flag that I stole along with. I left the pull out with the truck, but I did bring the flag in. Okay. I figured they probably wanted it back.
Captain Brooks gives you that look of like, no, that was literally just a prop. That flag, whatever. You know what? Fuck it. Whatever. Keep it, Wescott. Take it with you. Remember your time here. And then Brooks, as soon as Brooks says that, she's like, shit, I was not supposed to say that just yet. Staff Sergeant Szymborski, Sergeant Pike. These are our representatives from the 33rd MAU. Gentlemen, I believe you have a few words, if you would like. And Szymborski just looks over at you, Pike, because this is going to be your section.
Corporal. I want to know, what do you think was your best moment in that exercise, and what was your biggest fuck up?
Well, I mean, the biggest fuck up would definitely be the lack of tactical approach to that door.
I mean, this is between you.
Yeah. So definitely the lack of tactical approach to the door. Felt like we probably could have best thing. Those two especially over there, kind of nodding over to Luke's main character, kept their head together throughout all of this. It was very useful. So
not exactly a moment.
Hey, a specific moment as to in generalities. Probably the specific best moment out of it was picking up on enough of the details, realizing it was a simulation before walking out the building. About walking out of base. Single specific dumbest moment, still walking out to the fucking door.
I got a
We're
little
working on that one.
I got a little expectation whiplash.
Mm-hmm.
You all seemed so sharp figuring out what was going on before you ran into your fellows. And then you just turned your eyes off.
Zimborski,
UPP's
by
not
the
going to
way,
give you
is
that
just
chance.
observing at this point. He's letting Pike have this moment.
Mm-hmm.
UPP's not going to give you that chance. What are you going to do to change that?
Drills, probably. Learning experience. Reviewing the issues.
Zimborski
Teaching
cuts
moments.
in. When you say that, Zimborski cuts in for a quick moment and is like, God damn right.
Yeah, we'd be doing a lot more of this one, aren't we? I would.
Absolutely. Pike, you got anything else?
Not right now.
Excellent. Captain Brooks. And then, so then Staff Sergeant Zimborski and Captain Brooks kind of go off to the side and speak amongst themselves briefly. And then Captain Brooks comes back around and says, Corporal Wescott, that's Corporal Winston, PFC Watts, PFC Warren. I don't know how I'm going to be able to pull this off with Watts and Warren, but the staff sergeant is... She just looks at Pike for a brief second and then looks back to her formation and is like, yep, that's
Pike
true.
looks intense. Like everything is way too serious with Pike.
I think she gets the impression that Pike is going to either turn these two into active God-fearing Marines or they're going to die. It's just, there's no other option. It's one or the other. And she just looks at you and Staff Sergeant Zimborski with something of a, I don't know if it's sympathy or empathy, but there's definitely a moment. And she just looks back to the rest of the formation and says, you four will be going to the MAU. The rest of you, well, I guess it's back to base. Congratulations to the four of you. Staff Sergeant Zimborski and Sergeant Pike, I appreciate your assistance here. Wish you guys the best of luck out there.
Captain.
We're going to fast forward briefly because we do need to wrap this up. We get... Just make sure I'm not missing anything. Normally, I would give you guys a little bit of time to integrate, but basically you spend the next couple hours driving back to base. You've got time to ruminate on what went right and what went wrong. But for the sake of time, we're going to speed up a little bit here. Back to base, you grab all your shit, you hop on the Cheyenne, you're up in space, you're back. Now you are on the Tambatam, the Conestoga class frigate, to which you guys are now assigned. And Sergeant Pike and Staff Sergeant Zimborski take a few minutes to get you guys acquainted with the setting of the ship, you know, where your particular squad goes for the cryo bay and all that craziness. You almost get this feeling, like you probably can't necessarily feel the ship changing velocities and things of that nature. You probably can't hear the engines roaring, but you get a feeling that as soon as you guys are throwing your bags in lockers and getting resituated, that something is changing. And it's simple that the ship is indeed breaking orbit and preparing to go into FTL. And you guys would also know this. FTL is not an uncommon thing. You know that you literally have to be in suspension or cryo suspension in order to endure FTL. You all end up going into the cryo sleep pods, and the ship eventually makes it into FTL.
So I guess you guys would also have noticed that if we're doing all that on Pike's armor, because like in the movie they had all their shit all done up on their armor.
Yeah.
He has on the chest of his armor, he has a skull with a knife pressed through it on top of a crosshair. and there's a bullet hole in one of his pauldrons with text around it that says "Ain't got time for it."
Let's kill this sniper. Ain't got time for that.
And then yeah, when when you guys are getting stripped down to get into the cryo, he has the entire Colonial Marine Corps creed tattooed down one arm as part of a half tattoo, part of a half sleeve.
Is this the Marine Corps version of I am a oh Jesus Christ, I'm getting too many creeds at once. Yeah. Okay.
And the other side, he's got some like unit insignia and stuff and campaign titles all tattooed on the other arm.
I'm just sitting here imagining my like little 5'2" person looking a foot up, going,
Yep. Pike looks like Jesse Ventura.
Especially short is funny.
Australia says in stream chat, he says, "Okay, it's official now. Pike looks like Jesse Ventura in Predator. Ain't got time to bleed."
Absolutely.
All right.
It's very clear that that Pike lives for the Corps.
Yeah. I would love to give us a few more minutes here, but we are already a half hour beyond, and part of that, of course, is because we started late. But I do want to get wrapped up. We see the ship. We get a camera shot of the ship pulling away from Tientsin, and it goes into FTL. And I have no idea if the alien universe ever established what going into FTL looks like. And it's fine if it didn't. What we do get next is the Tamatam coming into orbit over the planet. I believe it's Ariarchus is the name of the planet in the Kruger 60 system. We see briefly, distantly but clearly, what appears to be the outline of a cityscape. This is, and we see, of course, a line of text on the bottom of the screen. It says Fort Nebraska, Kruger 60 system. And then the letters slowly fade, and we're left with the view of the city. And suddenly that outline is subsumed by a nuclear explosion, swelling rapidly to occlude the entirety of that location, wiping it forever from existence. Fort Nebraska is gone. And we're going to end there. So what I like to do, Kane, you're new to my show. Luke, you've been in one of my shows, but not one like this.
No.
And by this, I mean not Alien, but in an RPG of this sort. Rodance, you're familiar with this. What I'd like to do at the end of the show is, of course, a brief round for feedback and other thoughts, and then, of course, the good night, everybody. You can find me here entry, I guess you could say. So starting with Rodance. Thoughts for tonight, feedback, etc.
My minion's so dead. So dead. If enemies don't get him, the drills will kill him.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
I'm pretty sure dude's working through some anger problems, because I'm pretty thinking about it. I'm pretty sure he'd still run up to the freaking door. Like just what I've put together for him, I'm like, he feels very much like that idiot who kicks doors.
He thinks he's
he ain't gonna live long.
He thinks
he
he's a
doesn't get
breacher.
that habit broken.
He's a seaburn that thinks he's a breacher.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a problem because my main character's like, I want to bring all my people home.
Yeah,
this
that is going to be a
go
problem.
well.
That is going to be a problem. And you know what? Before we continue, I forgot there's one other thing we need to do. I got to find it, so give me just a moment, because I don't believe the journal entries specific spot for this. I could be wrong, but
Are you thinking page 34? Core book?
34 in the core? Is that the one with the questions I'm looking for?
Yep.
34?
I don't have it open right now, but I've gone to it enough times I remember it's page 34 and 35.
It's amazing that it's so early in the book, though. Okay, so yes, we have to award XP. I want to do this every session at the end of the session, regardless of what is or isn't accomplished, and here's why. These are a series of questions that could take some discussion. I ask a question, you give an answer. We may have to go back and forth a couple of times in order to figure it out. In some cases, it's just a simple yes or no type thing. So this will apply for both your characters. What I basically am going to do is I'm going to ask a question, and more or less, if the answer is yes, you get an experience point for that character. So starting right at the very top, first one, did you participate? The answer for that one is yes, times 4. Well, 5, including Sergeant Pike.
Yeah. So each of us gets one.
And you can mark it.
And
You
I
have a
push a little button on the campaign experience thing.
Yep. You just
Yep.
when you click on the empty circle, it fills a dot for you, so you can keep track of how much you have.
Yep.
Perfect. That's how I figured it would work.
Yep. And so that's all 5 player characters should be getting a point. Did you risk or sacrifice something to further your personal agenda? I believe the answer for this is mostly going to be no, only because we haven't really clearly established personal agendas. I am open to interpretation or feedback on that.
I have a very clearly defined agenda, and I did none of it.
Okay.
Same.
Do you have your
Both of
agenda?
my
Oh,
people
you
are
do.
fairly well defined, and they did
Remember,
not
you
have a
laughed at
chance
mine.
to participate.
Okay. Yeah, I see yours is in there. We actually did discuss that briefly, I believe.
That's something that is important to note is you don't have to succeed. You just have to risk something for it.
Yes. Yes, this is true. Are we good with that question? Can we move on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you risk your life for your buddy PC? Well, again, we haven't quite established buddies yet because of the nature we were doing things, which is fine. Conversely, did you challenge or stand up to your rival? Again, we don't have that. I will take arguments if any, or are we good to continue? Okay. Panic rolls. We did get one person to make a panic roll. I don't remember specifically who it was though. It was one of the buddies.
It was at least 2 people. It was
Yeah,
Well, there
we-
was 2.
It was
we rolled,
Leland.
failed.
Yeah.
We rolled the head.
Okay, so for the
Crabbies.
2 that made the panic rolls, that's 1 point of experience right there.
Yep.
This next question is: did you overcome a dangerous event using violent or non-violent means? I'm going to say yes, because that was the nature of this. Even though it was an exercise, I'm going to give you the XP for it.
So that's everybody?
Everybody
1
other than
point.
Pike, because Pike was an observer. Did you make a significant discovery or revelation? I will say yes for Pike, only because it moves the plot. Pike, you now have a squad. Previously, you did not, or
Okay.
or whatever you want to call it. I know it's not exactly a squad, but
Did Leland discover the sim rounds?
you know what? Yes, I will take that. You can award Winston that 1 point for the sim rounds.
Nice.
And then the last question: did you earn any money? Technically, yes, because you're in the Marine Corps. So I didn't take that free point.
And keep in mind with that one, while it feels like a freebie, Sergeant Pike can dock your pay so you don't earn for a session for discipline.
That's true.
So
Oh,
we should
God.
have roughly 3 to 4 points per person. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
costs- it
Leland
costs 5
somehow
to do
has
anything.
1, 2, 3, 4. Leland has 5.
You got 5. Oh, you had the panic roll. That's why.
Yeah.
There we go.
Right, 5 XP. Anything you level up with will cost 5 XP.
Yep, 5 XP for a new trait, 5 XP to increase skills. You cannot increase.
The only
attributes.
thing you can get is a skill rank or a talent.
Yep.
If you have ranks already in that skill, you can just buy a rank. If you don't, you either have to, in the last session, have succeeded at that skill with no ranks in it, or find somebody who is willing to teach you who has ranks in that skill.
Okay.
For talents, if somebody is available to teach it to you that already possesses it, there's no roll required. If there is nobody, then you have to make a wits roll with no stress dice every day that you try to teach yourself that talent until you succeed.
So I could just give myself either 1 point in observation or look for another talent, and that'd be okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
during the week.
Can
if
I
you guys
figure
have,
that out later? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, during the
Okay.
week, if you guys have questions on how to spend or what you're trying to accomplish in spending experience points, throw it in the Discord chat. Throw it in the group chat, not DMs, just so everybody can see and learn. And in case I make a call and I fuck it up, Kane can be like, "No, you fucked that up."
I'm
Yeah,
gonna make a really quick abridged reference for thing. I'll drop it in the shared folder we have.
Sounds good. All right, back to you, Ro. Feedback, thoughts, etc. And closeout, outro type stuff.
I like the system.
I
Like
do
the
too.
way it interacts goes nicely. I'm not as familiar with the setting, and like I don't have a military background, so there's definitely a couple chunks where I will always trip over. But let me tell you, I can Google how to report faster than he can answer the thing.
Me? Yes.
Well, let's just say there actually is Google references for how you generally report and whether you do or do not salute and all the long list of stuff. If you make me read that much, you're gonna get more
Give you
ridiculous
chocolate.
comments.
Don't worry, it'll be fine. I'll give you chocolate.
Yeah, you'll. Also take cookies, but
Chocolate
chocolate's
chip
down
cookies. I feel like that's a twofer. I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to. Maybe I'm trying to.
Or coffee.
All right. You got anything else before we move on?
That's it.
All right, Luke. Thoughts, feedback, etc., and outro type stuff.
All right. Well, the system is loosey goosey, but also very strict on not dying. So I like it. It's very narrative based, so I'm enjoying my time with the little combat and then the actual like discussion and things like that because I don't have a military background either. You had me my blood running with the recruiter thing because I flashbacks to when I tried to join the army for literally a med tech. So this is kind of just like a fantasy that I'm playing out.
That's the best part about these kinds of games is that they literally do become that. They have that fantastic element. Like, I want to be this dual wielding sword slashing motherfucker, and I will never be that in real life. And that's what I love about role playing games in general, and this system in particular. You'll see as we progress. You'll probably get a feeling for like, oh wow, look at that. I'm like this special forces type dude going in
Yeah.
and rescuing people and blasting aliens in the face. You know.
Like I'm a literal fencer and I still play like fantasy RPGs and
Yeah.
stuff because it's still great. You know, it feels great to just be like, well, I have a battle axe. It's double-edged. It makes no sense, but it's chopping a whole thing in half. You know, it's great.
Amazing. Amazing. You got anything else?
No, that was pretty much it.
All right. Kane, thoughts, feedback, and outro comments.
I couldn't help but think, like partway through that exercise, how much fun it would have been to like knife my way through that scenario. Just go in the bunker and I'm like, yeah, nice mark on.
I
But
shit you
I'm
not.
playing a very but my character is he does what he does and he's not good at anything else. So and he's self-aware.
and he knows that he's not good at anything else.
Yeah.
He's found his place.
I did like this little like recruiting prequel thing to I did think that was a fun addition.
Thank you.
But I will make a short primer. So we have a really abridged reference to use.
That would be helpful,
So
I
we
think,
have-
for everybody.
Yeah, so people have an idea of what their options are.
Yeah.
Because like I saw in the chat, somebody's mentioning the aim action, which didn't come up, but you guys weren't informed on being able to use it anyways. You're being very mobile. So which ended up being better, I think, in the end, but just those little things. And because it is such a rules light system, it will be very short. But at least you guys will have an idea of your options.
You know what, Australis? I didn't even think about a GM screen because you know 9 out of 10 times I have like basically all the tables you could probably reference in a single session, and I have the books, PDF and hard copy, and that's literally all I have. So a GM screen didn't even click in my head that maybe I would want one because I usually don't use one because I can usually find in the PDF, Control F, or I know where in the book to turn the page to. So. But yeah, no, actually a GM screen for something like this probably wouldn't have been a bad idea. At any rate, Kane, did you have anything else before I start talking myself into a hole?
There's a couple people. There's a couple people who are going to really enjoy watching me be a player in the system instead of running it. And they're going to be hoping for poetic justice in a few instances.
That sounds an awful lot like I'm probably going to die horrifically. But I feel like as a GM from a previous campaign, it's my turn to die horrifically.
I think I earned this in a previous life, running one of these games.
Absolutely. I bet you there is. All right, my friends. First, for my players, thank you so much. And one, putting this campaign together, starting this campaign. And secondly, although we had a late start, sticking around for basically almost another hour. I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. For my viewers, Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, both live viewers and if you're watching this on YouTube, please come to the Discord if you haven't already. Join us, hang out with us, talk with us, and tell us how silly we are, or tell us how terrifying some of these things may end up being at some point in time. I will get better at Foundry. I can only get better because I suck at it right now. I can only go up from here. But we will get better with Foundry, and we will probably do a bit better in the presentation of the campaign, and it won't always be just our faces on the screen. Other than that, tomorrow, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Pacific, Second Star, episode 17 of Season 2. Our guys are getting ready to head off onto their next mission. And then that's all I have for the rest of the week, unless something comes up. And I don't think there is anything off the top of my head. So otherwise, we will be starting our week on next Monday. Although there will be an episode of Imperium Maledictum, which will be Kane and myself and Grimdark James playing, well, Imperium Maledictum on AP Gaming Reels channel. So, you can always catch that. Just Google it. You'll find it. Thanks, my friends, for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. Stay safe out there. This world is a crazy and dark place, so make sure you're doing what you got to do. Take care of you and yours. And as for me and mine, we're out of here. Have a good one.